Chapter 608, Visiting the Guan Yu family at night. 1. Yes. A few beasts answered and then began to eat heartily. Even the female beasts were the same. Boo-hoo. They wanted to say that they were not a public drip, but they didn't dare. That's more like it. Fong Fong nodded with satisfaction. Ha, little Fong Fong, you're becoming more and more like a wolf king. Fong De couldn't help but hug Fong Fong and sighed with emotion. Hee hee. Back then, the reason why they could form ties with Miss was also related to these silver wolves. Of course. Big sister often says that you shouldn't lose to others. Even if the other party is stronger than you, you absolutely can't be weaker than the other party in terms of aura. Hee hee. Fong Fong said with a face full of pride. Its admiration for Leng Ruoxue was like a raging river, flowing endlessly. Yes, yes. Fong De nodded in agreement. Then he ordered the dull guards, go and get some delicious food. Remember, these silver wolves will eat whatever your patriarch eats. Ah. The guards were still stunned. Boo-hoo. These silver wolves were treated a little too well. They actually wanted to eat like the patriarch. What? Is there a problem? Let me tell you, no matter what my young miss eats, her beasts will also eat with her. The Guan Yu family is a top family in the boundless heaven continent. If you can't even support a few beasts, then please tell Guan Yu Lai not to have any ideas about our young miss, Feng De said with slight dissatisfaction. The guards looked at each other with bitter faces, and no one said anything. Boo-hoo. How could they dare to tell young master this? They would have to feed the mosquitoes directly if young master knew. Please wait for a moment. Well, go get some food, a guard said helplessly. Boo-hoo. They were really too much. Okay, go quickly. Feng De urged. Yes. The guards nodded in unison and then escaped. They slipped away quite quickly, Feng De said with a light smile. Then he turned his gaze to the few beasts fighting with the food. Ah. He really wondered if these beasts could destroy all these food. Moreover, Silver Wings kept urging them. Hey, you have to eat all this food. Silver Wings ordered the few careful beasts. I can't eat anymore, a beast that was so bloated that its stomach was about to burst said softly with courage. You still have to eat. Look at how thin you are. How can you not eat more? Silver Wing said with seeming concern. I really can't eat anymore. The beast sobbed with tears in its eyes. Boo-hoo. It didn't want to be the first beast to be stuffed to death by food. Oh, take a rest first then continue eating later. Silver Wing said after some thought. Hee hee, was this a good idea? It was so smug. The poor beast, which was about to explode from being stuffed, rolled its eyes in fright after hearing Silver Wing's words. It kicked its 4 hooves and fainted. Ah. Its mental endurance is really too weak. It's just letting it eat something. Is there a need to do this? Silver Wings complained. Boo-hoo. It hadn't had enough fun yet. How could a toy faint? With this in mind, it produced a pill from nowhere, pried open the beast's mouth, and threw the pill in. A few minutes later. Silver Wings, what did you feed it? Why isn't it awake yet? Feng De couldn't help asking curiously seeing that the beast didn't wake up immediately. Hee hee, it's medicine that can help it digest food. Kind, right? Silver Wings said proudly, its expression seemed to be saying, praise me. Ah. Feng De was speechless. Medicine that could help digest food, wasn't that a leak? Silver Wings was really ruthless. The medicine refined by Miss had extraordinary power. Alas. He now felt a little pity for this unconscious beast. Tell me if anyone else feels stuffed. I have pills here that can help you digest. You won't feel bloated anymore after eating. Silver Wings said to the other beasts who were still fighting with their food with a smile. Ah. There's no need, the few beasts said hurriedly. Boo-hoo. This Wolf King definitely didn't have any good intentions, so they would rather die from overeating than eat the pills it gave. Oh, then quickly eat. There's still a lot of food. Silver Wings said without being angry or angry. Its good intentions might have been misunderstood by the beasts, but adults didn't take offense. It wouldn't bicker with these beasts. Yes. The beasts didn't even dare to raise their heads and just buried themselves in the food in front of them. At this moment, the unconscious beast woke up and clearly felt uncomfortable. It ran directly toward the straw hut of the Guan Yu family without thinking. Look at this speed. Miss Pills are so useful. Silver Wings praised, its fluffy little face full of a naughty smile. At the same time, the guards who went to steal the food from the patriarch and elders returned. They sneakily took the food out of the ring and placed it in front of the silver wolves, and hurriedly said, "Eat quickly. We spent a lot of effort to obtain these foods." Hee hee. You've worked hard. Fengde said with a smile. He glanced at those things at the same time and couldn't help but praise in his heart. The food the patriarch ate was really good. Alas. Your patriarch really doesn't eat much. Forget it, let's eat. Silver Wing picked up a fish with its claws and tasted it before saying with dissatisfaction. A certain beast's opinion was obviously different from Fengde's. Silver Wing's words almost made the guards vomit blood. Damn it. The patriarch didn't eat well? Then who ate well? They couldn't help cursing in their hearts. Boo-hoo. The food they spent so much effort to get was actually despised again. Now, they really wanted to know what these silver wolves usually ate. Why were they all so picky? Ha, Big Brother Guard, it's also quite tiring for you to prepare food for us. Let's eat together. Fengde smiled and tried to smooth things over. He knew very well that he should stop while he was ahead. He knew that he couldn't let these guards suffer too much of a blow. Otherwise, there would be no more fun. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 609, Visiting the Guan Yu family at night, 2, Then we want stand on ceremony. The guards looked at each other and communicated with their eyes slightly. Boo-hoo. They worked hard to get these food. The patriarch and the elders would definitely punish them severely if they knew. They would be punished anyway, so they might as well eat enough now. Otherwise, how wronged would they be? You're welcome. Let's eat together. Fengde and the others were very hospitable. They didn't feel the pinch at all because these foods were not theirs. The guards nodded and then each found a seat to sit down. Boo-hoo. They had to destroy the evidence. They couldn't let anyone find these food, or the consequences would be very serious. Just like that, the guards colluded with Fengde and the others in a sorry state. They ate, drank, and chatted happily. The earth beast that had eaten the medicine that could help its digestion stayed in the toilet for the entire day until its master found it. Only then did it bring the unconscious earth beast back. In the fallen plum garden. The patriarch of the Wu family kept pacing around Wu Qian'er's room, feeling abnormally annoyed. Moreover, he couldn't help cursing softly, damn it, why isn't the second butler back yet? Old master, second butler has been to the Alchemist Association for a long time. He should be back soon. Don't worry, the maidservant braced herself and comforted. It's almost a day. Does refining a pill take so long? The Wu family's patriarch said very displeased. Patriarch, I'm back. The second butler's voice sounded from outside the room. Patriarch, second butler is finally back, the maidservant said happily. Boo-hoo. She didn't have to worry anymore now that second butler was back. It was great. She had been in a nervous state since yesterday because Miss and the patriarch were time bombs. Patriarch. The second butler pushed open the door anxiously and shouted with a self-righteous face. Why did you take so long? The Wu family's patriarch asked fiercely with a stern face. Humph. What trash. He couldn't even do this little thing. Patriarch, when I went yesterday, the alchemist grandmasters of the Alchemist Association happened to be not around, so I could only wait for them to return. I immediately got them to concoct the pill for Miss as soon as I saw them today. I returned immediately after the pill was concocted without any delay, the second butler hurriedly explained. He didn't know why President Ning changed his mind and arranged for an alchemist grandmaster to concoct the snake accumulation pill for him, but as long as he could obtain the pill and treat Miss' injuries, it would be a meritorious deed. Boo-hoo. He couldn't let the patriarch know that he offended President Ning yesterday, so he was chased out of the house. Now, he was very glad that his wise decision yesterday was to wait outside the Alchemist Association. Alas! Hard work paid off. He finally obtained the snake accumulation pill. Of course, it was also possible that President Ning was touched by his sincerity, and the alchemist grandmaster happened to return, so he got those arrogant grandmasters to help him refine pills. He daydreamed happily in his heart. Oh, second butler, you did well. I will remember your contribution. The Wu family's patriarch nodded with satisfaction after hearing the second butler's explanation. Thank you, patriarch. The second butler quickly thanked him and took out the snake accumulation pill from his ring and handed it to the patriarch. Second butler, you've worked hard. Go and rest. The Wu family's patriarch took the snake corral pill and said to the second butler. Yes, the second butler answered and left after speaking. At the same time, he heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the patriarch accepted his explanation. Otherwise, he really didn't know what kind of punishment he would have received. How dangerous. In the room, the Wu family's patriarch looked at the black pill in his hand that was emitting a faint stink and frowned slightly, but he still sent the pill to Wu Qian'er. He had heard of the snake accumulation pill, but this was the first time he had seen it. Therefore, it was not unacceptable as long as he could cure his daughter, even if the taste of the snake accumulation pill was a little strange. Why isn't Qian'er awake yet? After a while, the Wu family's patriarch couldn't help being a little anxious seeing that his precious daughter still didn't show any signs of waking up. In fact, he didn't necessarily care about his daughter. After all, the Flower Appreciation Festival was about to begin. Even if he could wait, the Flower Appreciation Festival couldn't be postponed for his daughter. Patriarch, don't worry. Miss has already taken the snake accumulation pill and will wake up soon. The maidservant standing by the side had to console him. It's been so long. She should be awake by now, right? The Wu family's patriarch said impatiently, his heart racing like an ant on a hot pan. Wu Qian'er finally reacted and slowly opened her eyes as the Wu family's patriarch was pacing around anxiously. Father, are my injuries healed? Wu Qian'er asked in disbelief after opening her eyes. She actually didn't feel the pain that tore her lungs apart. Yes, Qian'er. Do you still feel pain now? The Wu family's patriarch nodded and asked very concernedly. It doesn't hurt anymore. Wu Qian'er exercised her arm and then said happily. She was finally sure that her injuries were really healed. It seems like the snake accumulation pill is indeed useful. The Wu family's patriarch was also very happy. His daughter's injuries were healed, and she could participate in the flower viewing convention as scheduled. That old man Guan Yulong would have nothing to say now, right? Because he was very confident that his daughter would definitely be able to obtain the champion as long as she could participate in the flower viewing convention. Father, I won't let those people who injured me go, Wu Qian'er said fiercely with a fierce gaze. Yes, Qian'er, don't worry. Father has already asked the Guan Yu family to chase them out of the inn and has been sending people to monitor them. You can deal with them however you want. However, now is not the time. The most important thing now is the flower viewing convention. You have to obtain first place. Only then will you have the chance to become the young madam of the Guan Yu family, understand? The Wu family's patriarch reminded very seriously. Alas! This daughter was good in every way, but she was too impulsive. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 610, visiting the Guan Yu family at night. 3, yes, father, don't worry. I know, Wu Qian'er promised very obediently. Qian'er, have a good rest for the next 2 days. Your main task now is to recuperate and prepare for the flower appreciation meeting with all your might, the Wu family's patriarch reminded her again. He ordered his daughter to have a good rest and then left the room with ease. After the Wu family's patriarch left, Wu Qian'er lay on the bed gloomily. She hated Leng Ruoxue and the others to the point of gritting her teeth. However, she didn't dare to disobey her father. Moreover, she knew very well the importance of the flower viewing convention to her, so she could only temporarily bear this grievance. She would slowly deal with those people after the flower viewing conference ended. Time passed slowly. Night fell quickly as Feng De and the others feasted. Leng Ruoxue, the freak, and Empty emerged from the bracelet and saw Feng De, the beasts, and the guards lying on the ground, sleeping soundly. Hee, Shuer, they really ate a lot. Empty looked at the leftovers on the ground and sighed. Okay. Leng Ruoxue stored the drunk silver wolves into the bracelet. Then she summoned Feng Zhan and piled the trash in a corner with the tornado technique. She ordered Feng Zhan to destroy the corpse to prevent the Guanyue family from discovering it because she knew very well how these food came about. She didn't care what the consequences would be for the guards, but she couldn't let her subordinates cause trouble. Therefore, she would benefit the guards along the way. Master, it's done. Feng Zhan immediately flew to Leng Ruoxue's shoulder to report after burning all the food and equipment clean with the southern spirit flame. Okay, let's go out for a walk. Leng Ruoxue smiled evilly at the freak and Empty. Shuer, what about Feng De and the others? The freak looked at Feng De and the others lying on the ground and asked worriedly. They should stay outside for the time being. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Feng De and the others were not suitable to be stored in the bracelet, so they could only suffer. Shuer, where are we going? Empty asked curiously. Just walking around and recognizing the way, Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. Then she summoned Ling and ordered her to cast an invisibility spell on them. Hee, she wanted to watch the commotion. Master, let's go that way. Feng Zhan suggested. That was the main house of the Guanyu family. The patriarch lived there. Hee, who knew if the Yu family's patriarch had eaten today? Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded slightly in agreement. She also wanted to take a look there. After speaking, the 3 of them and the 2 beasts walked toward the main room. Before they entered the yard of the main house, Leng Ruoxue and the others heard the roar from the yard. The 3 of them and the 2 beasts smiled evilly as they strode into the main yard and walked directly into the hall. They found a random seat and sat down, preparing to watch a good show. At this moment, in the meeting hall of the main yard, be it the patriarch of the Guanyu family or the elders, they were all sitting in their chairs gloomily and sulking because their and the beasts' food had all disappeared. They had not eaten for almost a day, and their stomachs were rumbling with hunger. What was even more infuriating was that the people the patriarch arranged to go out to purchase food had actually not returned until now, and they did not know where they had died. Moreover, the little thief who stole their food had not been caught, alas. Tell me if any of you have any objections, the depressed Guanyu Long roared furiously. They had discussed for a while but still couldn't come to a conclusion. Patriarch, I think we still have to strengthen the guards. Why would there be thieves out of nowhere? Moreover, not stealing money, not stealing things, and only stealing food. This is really too despicable, an elder said indignantly. Boo-hoo. He really hoped that the thief was here to steal money. At least in that case, they wouldn't have to starve because the feeling of being hungry was really uncomfortable. 5th Elder, isn't this as good as not saying anything? Our Guanyu family has many guards already, but there's actually still a theft incident. As an elder in charge of safety work, shouldn't you take full responsibility? The 6th Elder, who had always been at odds with the 5th Elder, hurriedly added insult to injury. I admit that I'm responsible for losing something, but now is not the time to pursue the matter. The patriarch is asking which of us has a good way to prevent this kind of thing from happening again. Moreover, I agree with the second elder very much. I also think that the face of a family thief is very big. The fifth elder was not flustered and said calmly and nonchalantly. Humph. He just lost some food. He didn't believe that the patriarch would punish him for losing something to eat. Therefore, he was not afraid of the sixth elder's provocation at all. Shut up, all of you. I didn't ask you to express your opinions to watch you bicker. Humph. I want to see that thief now, no matter if it's a family thief or an outsider thief. Where is he after so long? Guan Yulong roared angrily. He was very dissatisfied with the efficiency of the elders because they had not found even a trace of the thief after nearly 10 hours. Patriarch, please calm down. The guards are searching every yard. They will definitely find it, the first elder comforted very helplessly. Alas! He knew that the patriarch was anxious, but how could he not be anxious? Because he was also hungry. First elder, how is Wu Qianer? Guan Yulong took a deep breath and calmed himself down slightly before asking about the Wu family. I heard that Wu Qianer's injuries have already healed. According to the Wu family's patriarch, she should be able to participate in the flower viewing convention as scheduled. The first elder told him everything he knew. In fact, he had something else he didn't say, which was that the Wu family's patriarch shouldn't worry. He knew that the patriarch would definitely go crazy if he heard this, so he didn't want to cause trouble for no reason. Oh. Guan Yulong answered lightly. Patriarch, Miss Wu's injuries are all healed. This is a happy matter. Hee, congratulations, Patriarch. Suddenly, the sixth elder said very tactlessly. Wu Qianer isn't my daughter. Why are you congratulating me? Guan Yulong glared and said fiercely. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 611, Visiting the Guan Yu family at night, 4, Upon hearing the patriarch's words, the sixth elder immediately felt cold sweat forming on his back. Boo-hoo. He just wanted to flatter the patriarch. After all, Wu Qianer was the patriarch's future daughter-in-law. However, why did it seem like the patriarch was very angry? Compared to the sixth elder's puzzlement, the other elders were clear in their hearts. They knew very well that the patriarch didn't want to become related to the Wu family. However, everything would be set if Wu Qianer obtained first place in the Flower Appreciation Festival. Therefore, they were also very conflicted in their hearts because they knew that if Wu Qianer participated in the Flower Appreciation Festival, unless some unexpected accident happened, there was a high chance that she would be the champion. Boo-hoo. They were really in a difficult situation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have turned a blind eye and watched the sixth elder curry favor with the Wu family's patriarch. After all, they were unwilling to offend people who might become the future mistress of the Guan Yu family. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue sent a voice transmission to the freak and Empty after watching the commotion. Ah. Leaving so soon? Empty couldn't help asking. What? Haven't you seen enough? Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas. Empty had become naughty and actually wanted the world to be in chaos. Yes. Empty replied with a chuckle. Hee, those people were so hungry that they cried out. This place is boring. Let's go to other places to take a look, Leng Ruoxue suggested. Swear, aren't we going to attack them? Should we snap them now? The freak's dazzling starry eyes emitted a cold glow as he asked fiercely. Ah. Freak, calm down. We are good children. We can't be so violent. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Leng Ruoxue's forehead as she hurriedly said. Oh, then let them go for now, the freak said very kindly. His bright starry eyes were pure and innocent as he looked at Leng Ruoxue, as if he was saying, I'll listen to you. Okay, let's go. The 3 of them and the 2 beasts left the main yard and began to wander around the Guan Yu family. Moreover, they discussed as they walked. Swear, Is this Guan Yu family really a top family in the boundless heaven continent? The freak asked doubtfully after circling around for a long time. Yes, what's the matter? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help asking doubtfully when she saw the dissatisfaction on the freak's face. I don't think it can compare to our home in the Ling Feng continent at all, the freak said with some disdain. In his opinion, this Guan Yu family was only slightly larger than the Leng family's general's mansion, but the interior decoration was completely inferior to the exquisite general's mansion. Of course. Leng Ruoxue said with a face full of pride. After she redecorated the general's mansion, the decorations inside were not something any family could compare with. Don't forget, she was an artificer. No family was willing to use a holy artifact as an ornament. Say, do you two have to be like this? If the Guan Yu family knows that their home has been despised by you, they will definitely vomit blood from anger. Empty said very helplessly. Hee, freak, we don't live here, so don't express your opinion, Leng Ruoxue said very kindly. Okay. The freak nodded in agreement. Well, he had to listen to his wife. Master, the Fallen Plum Garden is up ahead, Feng Zhan suddenly reminded. Fallen Plum Garden? It sounds so familiar. Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement, momentarily stunned. Shuer, Fallen Plum Garden is the Wu family's temporary residence. Empty knew from Shuer's expression that she didn't remember at all, so he had to remind her. Oh. Leng Ruoxue nodded understandingly. Shuer, I'll go kick her twice more and send her straight to hell, the freak said lightly, his beautiful face unreadable. Don't. I'm still counting on her to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival. Leng Ruoxue hurriedly stopped him after hearing the freak's words. Shuer, why did you get Ningda to refine the snake accumulation pill for her? Empty asked in puzzlement. He knew that Wu Qian'er's injuries could only recover because Shuer's permitted it. Otherwise, Ningda would not dare to refine pills for Wu Qian'er at all. I want her to participate in the Flower Appreciation Festival. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile, her beautiful face full of mystery. Shuer, Guan Yulong doesn't seem to want Wu Qian'er to be their daughter-in-law at all. Could it be that you want to help Wu Qian'er fulfill her wish? Empty's beautiful face was full of curiosity, and his pitch-black and bright black eyes were even more dazzling and intimidating under the moonlight. Hee, how can I be so kind? You'll know then, Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Shuer, aren't you going to tell me? The freak pouted with slight displeasure, his bright starry eyes looking at Leng Ruoxue resentfully. Tell. The freak's innocent gaze made Leng Ruoxue's hair stand on end. She hurriedly accepted her fate. Boo-hoo. Why did the freak always like to use this move to achieve his goal? What made her even more depressed was that she couldn't refuse at all. Shuer. Empty looked at Leng Ruoxue. Tears slowly welled up in his pitch-black eyes and rolled uncontrollably. Ah. Come closer. Leng Ruoxue sighed softly and said helplessly. Boo-hoo. Nothing was like that. Okay. The freak and Empty hurriedly gave their ears. Leng Ruoxue whispered a few words in their ears, and then the two handsome men's faces revealed enchanting naughty smiles. Hee, Shuer, Wu Qian'er is really unlucky. Empty looked at Leng Ruoxue with admiration after hearing Shuer's plan. This is called striking first to gain the upper hand. Anyway, we've already formed a feud with the Wu family. Can we still count on getting along peacefully with them? Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Since they had already become enemies, unless she didn't attack, she would definitely cause the enemies to die without a burial ground as long as she attacked. Of course not. The Wu family won't let us go. Empty said understandingly. Yes, that's why I have to prepare early. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. The expression on her beautiful face was very pure and innocent. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 612, The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family, 1, Shuer, let's go in and see Wu Qianer, the freak said impatiently. He also wanted to add something to that annoying woman after hearing Shuer's plan. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. The three of them and the two beasts walked into the Fallen Plum Garden with evil smiles on their faces. At this moment, the Fallen Plum Garden was abnormally quiet. The guards and maidservants in the yard didn't dare to make too much noise when they did things because Wu Qianer's injuries had healed, so as to not affect the young Miss Rest. Master, the guard guarding the door should be that woman's room, Feng Zhan said after sensing with his divine sense. Okay, let's go take a look. Leng Ruoxue nodded. After speaking, the three of them and the two beasts walked toward the room. Leng Ruoxue saw Wu Qianer sleeping on the bed through the window. She was only covered with a thin blanket, and her two snow-white arms were exposed. Freak, what are you doing? Leng Ruoxue unintentionally turned her head and saw the freak throwing trash into Wu Qianer's room, so she couldn't help asking. Nothing. I'm just adding some material to her. Shuer, let's go. The freak clapped his hands gently. The mission was completed, so when should we leave if not now? Oh, empty, what did you throw? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help asking speechlessly when she saw Empty throw a white pill into Wu Qianer's room. I'll add something for her too. Empty said self-righteously. Ah. Shuer and that damn freak had tampered with it. How embarrassing would it be if he didn't do anything? Ah. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue helplessly pulled the two of them away. Well, she felt a little pity for Wu Qianer now. She didn't know what the freak and Empty were made of. Shuer, where are we going? Empty couldn't help asking. Let's go back to sleep. Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. She planned to stay in the Guanyu family until the opening of the Flower Appreciation Festival. So how could she finish circling this place in one night? Shuer, we haven't gone there yet. Empty pointed at the northernmost corner of the main mansion. Let's go tomorrow. I'm sleepy if I go back to sleep now. Leng Ruoxue said and deliberately yawned to prove her words. Okay. The freak and Empty nodded. Then the three of them and the two beasts returned to the abandoned side yard where they lived. After entering the yard, the three of them found Feng De and the guards sleeping soundly, so they gently passed them and returned to their rooms. After entering the room, Leng Ruoxue brought the freak and Empty into the bracelet with a thought. Grandpa, you're not asleep yet. Leng Ruoxue saw her grandfather and brother sitting on the stone chairs in front of the purple bamboo house, drinking tea and chatting as soon as she entered the bracelet. Shuer, we can't sleep. Leng Qingtian looked at his granddaughter. Ah. Leng Ruoxue was slightly stunned. Could it be that her grandfather and brother had insomnia? Shuer, Grandpa and I aren't sleepy yet. Leng Ruhan couldn't help laughing when he saw his sister's slightly stunned expression. Grandpa, are you missing Grandpa Lin and the others? Leng Ruoxue asked in realization. Alas. Grandpa had been with them for a long time, but he was the only one coming out of seclusion now. It was inevitable that she was a little uncomfortable. After all, no one bickered anymore. Yes, I don't know when those old things will come out of seclusion. Leng Qingtian didn't intend to hide it from his granddaughter lest she worry. Grandpa Lin, and the old man should be here soon. I'm afraid the others will have to wait for a while. Leng Ruoxue contacted Qing Ju in her heart and asked about Grandpa Lin and the others' recent situation. Then she said to Leng Qingtian. Yes, I think so too. Leng Qingtian nodded. Grandpa, when Grandpa Lin and the old man come out of seclusion and see that you are already a mystic monarch, they will definitely be jealous of you, Leng Ruoxue reminded. In fact, it was good to have those old men bicker every day. Yes, Shuer, don't remind them of the existence of the silver snow pill. I want them to be jealous for a few days too, Leng Qingtian said with a naughty smile. He couldn't help wanting to laugh whenever he thought about those old fellows seeing his cultivation level after coming out of seclusion. Okay. Leng Ruoxua nodded and couldn't help but sigh in her heart. Alas! Grandpa was becoming more and more like a child. Shuer, what do you intend to do with the Wu family and the Guanyu family? Leng Qingtian couldn't help asking when he thought of their current location. Grandpa, the Wu family will definitely not let us go. As for the Guanyu family, they don't seem to care about us, so I'm not sure if the Guanyu family will become our true enemy now. However, we still have to teach the Guanyu family a lesson, Leng Ruoxua explained. Humph. How dare they chase them out of the inn? It would not be her style to let it go like this. Shuer, do you have any good plans now? Do you need Grandpa's cooperation? Leng Qingtian asked expectantly. Boo-hoo. He wanted to do something to exercise. There's already a plan, but it won't start until after the flower viewing convention begins, so Grandpa, wait patiently for 2 more days. Leng Ruoxua comforted. The Flower Appreciation Festival was about to begin in 2 days, so she wouldn't attack for the time being. Okay. If there's anything you need Grandpa's cooperation with, just tell me. Grandpa should move his old bones. Leng Qingtian reminded again, afraid that his granddaughter would forget him. Ha, Grandpa, don't worry. If there's anything fun, you and Big Brother will have a share, Leng Ruoxua promised. Alas! It seemed like Grandpa was really bored. Yes. It's good that you know. Leng Qingtian nodded with satisfaction. Grandpa, it's getting late. Go and rest. Leng Ruoxua looked at the time and urged. Okay, Shuer, rest early too. Leng Qingtian and his granddaughter stood up and said to Leng Ruoxua. Okay. Leng Ruoxua nodded. After watching her grandfather and elder brother return to their room, she greeted Empty and pulled the freak into the purple bamboo hut. The next morning, Leng Ruoxua left the bracelet with the freak and saw that Feng De and the others had woken up after exiting the room. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 613, The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family, 2, Miss, Commander Yi. Feng De hurriedly went forward to greet Leng Ruoxua and the freak after seeing them. He scratched his head shyly. Boo-hoo. They were actually drunk yesterday. Yes, where are the guards? Leng Ruoxua asked as her beautiful eyes swept the yard. She didn't see Guan Yulei's guards. I asked them to get food. Feng De said with a smile. The Guan Yu family is investigating this matter now. Letting them go and retrieve food at the peak of the storm will implicate us if we are discovered, Leng Ruoxua pretended to be displeased. Hee, miss, don't worry. I got Ling to cast an invisibility spell on them. They won't be discovered, Feng De said with a smug face. The guards were actually afraid when he asked the guards to retrieve food in the morning. They didn't dare to steal anymore even if they said they would die. Therefore, he had no choice but to ask Qing Ju for help to let Ling out. Then he got Ling to cast an invisibility spell on them before they dared to go. Yes, well done. Leng Ruoxua nodded in agreement. In fact, she had pretended to be angry just to see Feng Da's adaptability. However, the result of the test satisfied her. Miss, we have an important plan. Hee, it's confidential now, Feng De said mysteriously and kept her in suspense. Even I can't know. Leng Ruoxua said doubtfully. Ah. Could they have some trick up their sleeves again? Hee, miss, you just have to wait and see our results, Feng De promised with a naughty smile. Alright, I won't ask then, Leng Ruoxua said calmly. Ah. She really wasn't that curious. We're back. Suddenly, a voice sounded in Leng Ruoxua and the others' ears. Leng Ruoxua summoned Ling and ordered her to dispel their invisibility spell. The guards then appeared in front of everyone. Miss Leng, we've brought breakfast, a guard said very respectfully. Their attitude toward Leng Ruoxua and the others had changed drastically in just one day. Moreover, they knew very well that their young master had kicked an iron plate this time. Moreover, It was a piece of 10,000-year-old black iron. Moreover, this iron plate did not intend to let them go easily. Boo-hoo. Therefore, they had better be good. Okay. Len Ruoxua nodded. Her beautiful eyes glanced at them casually and stopped talking. She was not even interested in the change in their attitudes. A few guards took out breakfast from their rings and placed it on the table before standing respectfully at the side. I've eaten. Eat. Len Ruoxua looked at the food on the table and said to Feng De and the others. Yes, Mississippi. Where are your silver wolves? The guard asked. Ah. They had brought all the food that the Guan Yu family had just cooked, including the silver wolves, of course. Len Ruoxua smiled lightly and moved the silver wolves out of the bracelet. After seeing the silver wolf, the guards hurriedly took out a lot of food from their rings and placed it in front of them. Then they beckoned Feng De and the others to sit on the ground and took out a lot of things. Ah. This was their breakfast. Ha, Big Brother Zhao, you're really interesting. Feng De laughed loudly and patted the shoulder of one of the guards as if they were good brothers. Brother Feng De, our family's kitchen is now heavily guarded. It will probably be difficult to steal food in the future, a guard said with a troubled face. What's there to be afraid of? We're not afraid of thieves stealing, but we're afraid of thieves thinking about us. If we want to take it, well, think of a way. Feng De said nonchalantly. Well, was he being a bad influence by saying that? Ah. It probably won't be so easy to take it again after this time, another guard echoed. Boo-hoo. Why did he seem to fall a little in love with this feeling of taking things? This was not a good sign. Don't be scared. We will cooperate with you next time. Feng De promised while patting his chest. Yes, yes. Brother Feng De, you're really loyal. You're much better than some people in our family, Guard Xiao said very touched. Boo-hoo. This was what was meant by sharing fortune and difficulties together. Of course. If everyone bullies the weak and fears the strong like Guan Yu Lai, then there's no justice in the world, Feng De said with a face full of contempt. Ah. Young Master Lai is spoiled. In fact, he never really touched the women he snatched back every time, Guard Xiao said softly. Well, this was a secret. Could there be some inside story? Feng De asked curiously. Hee, I guess so. In fact, young Master Lai is quite pitiful. He spent a lot of effort snatching a woman back each time, but they were all released by the young master before he could touch them. Bodyguard Zhao lowered his head and whispered. Ah. No wonder Guan Yu Lai is still alive and well. It turns out that she didn't succeed. Feng De said in realization. He knew it. How could the cowardly Guan Yu Lai not encounter any trouble when she forcefully snatched a young girl from a good family? It turned out that she was killed in the cradle before trouble came knocking. Shoo, this is a secret that even young Master Lai doesn't know. Commander Zhao looked around and reminded. How could he not know? Feng De found it unbelievable. How could his master not know that the woman he snatched back was released by someone else? Our young master doesn't have a good memory. He might have snatched those women back, but he usually can't remember their appearance, so he doesn't know even if young master dropped a bag for him. Commander Zhao explained, his face full of sympathy for Guan Yu Lai. Substitute? Are you saying that your young master used other women to replace those snatched women? Feng De asked uncertainly. Ah. He didn't hear it wrong, right? The young master of the Guan Yu family let go of the women snatched by Guan Yu Lai and actually got him a substitute. No wonder that fool didn't notice. Yes, young master used some women who volunteered to be concubines to exchange for the women he snatched. Young Master Lei's memory isn't good, so he can't distinguish which one was snatched by him and which was not, hee. Commander Zhao couldn't help laughing softly at this point. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 614, The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family, 3, your young master really has ideas, Fengde said with a face full of admiration. However, he couldn't understand why the young master of the Guanyu family did this. Of course. Young master is very smart. In fact, he's doing it for the family's reputation. Young Master Lai was born by the patriarch's most beloved woman, so he has been spoiled a long time ago. The more he spoke, the more enthusiastic he became. He even revealed the secrets of the Guanyu family. Since you value the reputation of the family so much, why didn't you stop Guanyu Lei's behavior? Fengde asked in puzzlement. Ah. Could that young master have other motives? Young Master Lai won't listen to young master. In fact, sometimes young Master Lai is so willful that he won't even listen to the patriarch, so young master has to think of another way. Commander Zhao couldn't help speaking up for their young master. Boo-hoo. If it wasn't for the patriarch's orders, they would want to follow the young master even more because they were not stupid. They knew very well that only by following the young master would they have a future. Alas. It's not easy for your young master either, Fengde said politely. In fact, he was not very interested in the secrets of the Guanyu family. However, he did not mind learning more about the Guanyu family. Yes. It's really not easy for the young master, Guard Zhao agreed. He and Fengde seemed to have found a resonance, and the more they chatted, the more opportunistic they became. They even waited for their ancestors 8 generations clearly. Leng Ruoxua looked at Fengde, who was trying to wring information out of her, speechlessly. 2 drops of cold sweat couldn't help dripping down her forehead. Ah. Fengde was addicted to wringing information. He even asked about her ancestors. Shuer, shall we take a walk somewhere else? The freak looked at Fengde and the others, who were chatting very amiably. Alas. They were really becoming smarter. They were chatting privately with another guard each, haha. Okay. Leng Ruoxua ordered Ling to cast an invisibility spell on the 2 of them. She was about to leave this lousy yard when a voice without any hidden bitterness sounded in Leng Ruoxua's heart. Shuer, how can you abandon me? Ah. Leng Ruoxua let go of the impossible bracelet speechlessly and couldn't help but grumble in her heart. Can you not say it so ambiguously? Fortunately, the freak couldn't hear it. Otherwise, that jealous lover would be jealous again. Without Leng Ruoxua's instructions, Ling took the initiative to cast an invisibility spell on Empty. Then he said to Leng Ruoxua, Master, it's done. Yes, good. Leng Ruoxua caressed Ling's soft and tender scales. Let's go. Leng Ruoxua said to the freak and Empty. The 3 of them left the remote broken yard. Shuer, the Guanyu family seems to have twice as many guards as yesterday. The 3 of them walked all the way to the vicinity of the main house. After seeing a sentry every 3 steps and a sentry every 5 steps, Empty said in disbelief, wasn't this Guanyu family making a mountain out of a molehill? They only lost some food, was there a need to be so nervous? It seems like they didn't eat breakfast today again, Leng Ruoxua said in realization, her beautiful face full of a naughty smile. Hee, the people sent by the Guanyu family to purchase food yesterday seem to have returned this morning. Moreover, she heard from Qing Ju that they should have gone to other cities to purchase food because there just happened to be no more food in the shops of Guanyu City. Alas. To say that the Guanyu family was really unlucky. How did they manage to sell all the food in Guanyu City just in time? In fact, if they really wanted to pursue the matter, it was all the trouble caused by the Flower Appreciation Festival. As the Flower Appreciation Festival was about to begin, many inns had a large stockpile of food to prevent a shortage of goods by then. The food in the shops of Guanyu City had already been sold out, and new food had not arrived. Therefore, it created the predicament of the Guanyu family being unable to buy food everywhere. However, what was even more unlucky was that the food in the shop of the Guanyu family had already been supplied to the moon-gazing restaurant, but the moon-gazing restaurant had collapsed. Otherwise, the Guanyu family would not be hungry collectively. Hee, of course. Empty smiled mischievously and said in realization. At this moment, Guan Yulong was sitting on the main seat with a black face in the meeting hall of the Guan Yu family. He was cursing in his heart non-stop. Damn it! Who on earth was messing with them like this? It was fine that they didn't get to eat yesterday, but they couldn't find anyone. They finally got some food from other cities this morning, but it was gone again before they could eat. It was really infuriating. Patriarch, this matter must be investigated and punished severely. The people who stole our food are really too despicable, the 6 old men said abnormally angrily. Boo-hoo. Several shops under the Guan Yu family had to suspend their operations because of the lack of raw materials. One had to know that those were very profitable shops. Their family's losses every day would be considerable if they stopped their operations like this. 6th elder, isn't it obvious? Is there a need for you to say it? The 5th elder pouted and said lightly. He was obviously not interested in the 6th elder's hindsight. You, shut up. Guan Yulong roared with a slight headache. He was annoyed enough. These elders still didn't let him worry. He was really angry. The 6th elder was about to flare up when he was scared speechless by the patriarch's stern shout. Patriarch, the Wu family's patriarch is here. Suddenly, a guard walked into the meeting hall and reported. What is he doing here? Guan Yulong frowned and said with some displeasure. Ha! I'm here to deliver food to you. The Wu family's patriarch laughed and entered uninvited. Wu Ming, what are you doing here? Guan Yulong asked with a very cold tone. The expression on his face was obviously not welcoming him. Humph. He was already annoyed enough, but this annoying fellow actually came to cause trouble for him. He was really going too far. I came to deliver food to you. Didn't I say that just now? Wu Ming said with a face full of pity. The expression on his face was obviously saying, You're old, can't you understand me? Thank you for your good intentions. We don't need it, Guan Yulong said without gratitude. Humph. Eating people's mouths was short. He didn't dare to eat anything from Wu Ming. Really? But I heard you've been hungry for a day. Wu Ming gloated. Who said that? We're not hungry at all. Don't listen to the rumors outside, Guan Yulong roared angrily. Damn it, Wu Ming actually saw his joke. Moreover, his stomach made a disappointing sound as he said this, making him blush. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 615, The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family, 4, Oh, forget it since you're not hungry. Wu Ming said with a slightly smug smile. He turned and left without hesitation after speaking. Patriarch Wu, seeing Wu Ming leave, the 6th elder mustered his courage and stood up, unable to help shouting. 6th elder, sit down. If you dare to ask for his food, you can forget about being an elder of our Guan Yu family in the future, Guan Yulong said fiercely. He really hated Wu Ming, who came specially to demonstrate his might. Ah! Patriarch Wu has good intentions too. The 6th elder couldn't help defending Wu Ming softly. Boo-hoo. He was so hungry. He really didn't understand why the patriarch was so against the Wu family's patriarch. Good intentions my ass. 6th elder, I'll give you that damn thing if you admire it so much, Guan Yulong roared furiously. Ah! I don't admire him. I admire the patriarch more. The 6th elder hurriedly expressed his opinion in fright. Boo-hoo. The patriarch was so ruthless. He actually threatened him like this. Don't mention him in front of me in the future, Guan Yulong warned. He stopped when he saw that the 6th elder was afraid. In fact, how could he give the elders of his family away? The other families would laugh at their Guan Yu family to death if they knew. Patriarch. The Wu family's patriarch, the guard's voice sounded again just as Guan Yulong finished speaking. Seeing this, the elders hurriedly turned their heads to the side and pretended not to hear. After all, the patriarch had said not to mention that person in front of him just now. Alas! They couldn't help sweating for this guard. They really didn't know how the patriarch would deal with him. They were thinking in their hearts. Is that old thing demonstrating again? Guan Yulong asked with an angry face. No, Patriarch Wu, the guard hesitated, finding it difficult to say. What happened to that damn thing? Don't hem and haw. Otherwise, I'll punish you according to the family law. Guan Yulong threatened, his anger rushing to his head. Patriarch, the Wu family's patriarch fell into the toilet. The guard hurriedly replied clearly when he heard that he needed to be punished. Boo-hoo. He didn't want to be punished. What did you say? Say it again. Guan Yulong was stunned and couldn't help asking again after hearing the guard's words. Patriarch Wu fell into a latrine pit, the guard hurriedly replied without delay. Ha! I'm really too happy. Guan Yulong laughed hysterically in a good mood after confirming it. The depression in his heart was finally released, and his chest was not so stuffy anymore. Patriarch, calm down. The first elder sighed and reminded. Alas! He was one of the few people who knew about the conflict between the patriarch and the Wu family's patriarch. Therefore, he sympathized with the patriarch and knew that the patriarch had been depressed for so many years. Ha, is that fellow still staying in the toilet now? Guan Yulong asked gloatingly. The expression on his face seemed to be saying, whoever dares to save him will be going against him. Yes. He's still inside, the guard replied loudly. Boo-hoo. He didn't dare to save the patriarch if he didn't say anything. Therefore, the first thing he thought of after seeing the Wu family's patriarch fall into the toilet was to report back. How dare you? Why didn't you fish the Wu family head up? Do you want to die? The sixth elder couldn't help but scold Wu Ming furiously when he heard that he was still in the toilet. He even ignored the patriarch. I can't save him alone. The guard was so scared by sixth elder's words that his entire body trembled, and he even stammered a little. Boo-hoo. Did he do it right or wrong? Sixth elder, you're the bold one. I'm still here. How can you speak here? Guan Yulong reprimanded, his handsome face full of displeasure. Patriarch, I'm doing this for the family too. We can't explain it to the Wu family if anything happens to Patriarch Wu in our Guanyu family. The sixth elder was so scared that his heart trembled as he hurriedly explained. TCH, he fell into the toilet himself. What has it got to do with us? Moreover, do I need to explain to the Wu family? Guan Yulong narrowed his eyes and questioned lightly. Patriarch, the Wu family head is yours no matter if you're willing to admit it or not, the sixth elder said. However, he was interrupted by the first elder before he could finish speaking. Sixth elder, pay attention to your words. Don't say what you shouldn't. The first elder raised his eyes and warned indifferently. Upon hearing the first elder's words, sixth elder tactfully shut his mouth and didn't dare to say another word. Patriarch, what should we do with the Wu family's patriarch? Should we inform his subordinates? The first elder looked at Guan Yulong for his opinion. No need. His subordinates will naturally come out to look for him when they find that he has disappeared. Let's not meddle. All right, everyone, disperse. Guan Yulong began to chase them away. After speaking, he took the lead to leave the meeting hall. He had to admire the dead appearance of that stinky bug Wu Ming. He strode in the direction of the toilet, but after taking a few steps, Guan Yulong realized that a few tails were secretly following behind him. When he turned his head, the tails hurriedly hid. Seeing this situation, he couldn't help shouting, "Come out! Why are you following me like ghosts?" Patriarch, we also want to see the commotion. The first elder walked out of the dark awkwardly with a few elders. Everyone had two red clouds hanging on their faces. Obviously, they felt very embarrassed because they rarely did such things after living for so long. Go see it openly if you want to. Why are you sneaking around? This isn't something embarrassing. Guan Yulong said in disapproval. Anyway, he wasn't the one who was embarrassed. It would be better if all the citizens of Guanyu City came to see. Hehe, what the patriarch says is reasonable, the first elder hurriedly said. Then he brought the elders beside him and followed Guan Yulong. The group walked majestically toward their toilet. Leng Ruoxue and the others had seen enough of the commotion when Guan Yulong and the others went to the toilet and returned to the remote yard. Miss, where did you go? Feng De looked at Leng Ruoxue and the others who suddenly appeared and couldn't help asking curiously. Hehe, looks like Miss and the others went invisible to do bad things again. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 616, The Unlucky Patriarch of the Wu Family, 5, I went out for a walk. Oh right, the Wu family's patriarch fell into the toilet. Leng Ruoxue naturally wanted to share this news with her subordinates on the principle of sharing blessings. Ah. Really, Mississippi? I want to take a look, Feng De said hurriedly. Miss, I want to see it too, Lin Yuan said, unwilling to be outdone. Yes, yes. Go. Leng Ruoxue said and ordered Ling to cast an invisibility spell on Feng De and the others. Hehe, the purpose of telling them was to let them watch the commotion. You should go too. Leng Ruoxue said very openly as she looked at the guards with interest in their eyes and some excitement. Miss, well be going then. The guards bowed respectfully and left the yard immediately after speaking. Seeing that only the three of them and the beast were left in the yard that was still crowded just now, the freak couldn't help suggesting, Shuer, let's go take an afternoon nap. Okay. Leng Ruoxue looked up at the sky and nodded in agreement. It was still a distance away from noon, but she could still take a nap now. Ah. I want to sleep too. Empty rolled his eyes and said helplessly. Why did these two sleep for no reason? He really didn't understand. Could it be? He couldn't help letting his imagination run wild. Fortunately, Leng Ruoxue didn't know the dirty thoughts in his heart. Otherwise, she would definitely be anxious with him. After all, the relationship between the two children was very pure. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded slightly and then brought the two of them and the beast into the bracelet. After entering, Leng Ruoxue and the freak immediately left Empty and entered their purple bamboo hut. These two fellas. Empty glared at their backs and complained through gritted teeth. Then he entered his room. Time passed quietly, and a day passed quickly. Leng Ruoxue and the freak had been cultivating in the purple bamboo hut, so they didn't pay much attention to the situation outside. When Leng Ruoxue and the freak emerged from the bracelet and came to the yard, they saw Feng De and the others lying on the ground with their limbs facing the sky. Moreover, their stomachs were bulging. Feng De, what are you doing? Leng Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. They were lying on the ground when they were drunk, but why were they lying on the ground when they were sober? Miss, we were too full and couldn't stand up, Feng De said shyly. Ah. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but drip 2 drops of cold sweat on her forehead when she heard Feng De's words. She thought, are you children? You actually overeat. If you can't eat, then don't eat. Why are you so full that you can't even stand up? Upon seeing this, she helplessly took out a jade bottle from the bracelet, poured out a pill, and threw it into Feng De's mouth. The pill melted as soon as it entered his mouth. Feng De felt that his stomach didn't swell so much after taking it for a while. Boo-hoo. Miss Medicine was so effective. Open your mouths. Leng Ruoxue ordered. Then she released several mystic powers from her fingertips and threw a pill into everyone's mouths. After a while, Feng De and the others, who felt much better, hurriedly got up from the ground and looked at Leng Ruoxue very shyly with red faces. Miss, we promised you that we would definitely complete the food mission, so we accidentally ate too much. Feng De scratched his head and smiled foolishly. A bunch of idiots. Don't force yourself if you can't eat. Leng Ruoxue said with a face full of disapproval. Hee hee. Feng De and the others only smiled foolishly. did anything happen yesterday? Leng Ruoxue asked casually. Ah. Nothing big, just a little small. Feng De suppressed his smile. What? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows and asked very indifferently. After the Wu family's patriarch was fished out of the toilet by his subordinates yesterday, he locked himself in his room and showered non-stop. Also, I heard a very strange sound coming from Wu Qianer's room last night, hee. Feng De hurriedly reported. A very strange sound. Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. Ah. Yes, Feng De stammered, not knowing what to say. Did those guards steal food again? Leng Ruoxue changed the topic, seeing Feng Da's awkward expression. No, they were called away by Guan Yulai, Feng De reported. That fool didn't come yesterday, right? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. He didn't come. I heard that he was temporarily grounded by Guan Yulong. He said he would let him out after the flower viewing convention, Feng De said with slight pity. Alas. Poor Guan Yulai. She had only snatched the young miss back for a day and never had the chance to see her again. Seems like Guan Yulong is afraid that he will cause trouble, Leng Ruoxue said in realization. Miss, when are we leaving the Guan Yu family? Feng De couldn't help asking curiously. Ah. The Flower Appreciation Festival was tomorrow. Miss should have some plans, right? Ningde will fetch us out today, Leng Ruoxue said calmly, a subtle smile flashing in her beautiful eyes. Miss, are we going out so easily? Feng De said indignantly. They couldn't snatch the drip just because they wanted to. They had to be responsible for snatching it. Do you think that's possible? Leng Ruoxue asked with a light smile. Hee, definitely not. Feng De said with a naughty smile. He knew that Miss would not let the Guan Yu family off so easily. However, the Guan Yu family had also been hungry for 2 days. Ah. Would anyone faint from hunger if they starved for a day today? Feng De, someone should be here to tour today, so quickly destroy the evidence. Leng Ruoxue ordered. In fact, she felt that it was quite strange. They had been here for 2 days, and the Guan Yu family had been looking for thieves, but why didn't anyone come here to search? Miss, don't worry. We've already cleaned up. We won't let anyone find any evidence, Feng De promised. Okay, then let's wait here for Ningde to come and ask for her. Leng Ruoxue said lightly with a malicious smile on her beautiful face. Miss, is there anything we need to prepare? Feng De asked again. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 617, Food That Can Talk, 1, There's no need to prepare. We are victims. We just need to be of our nature, Leng Ruoxue reminded. Yes. Feng De understood. They were the victims, so they just had to pretend to be the victims. At the same time, Ningde, who had been restless for 2 days in the Alchemist Association, came uninvited after breakfast. In the Guan Yu family's living room. Guan Yulong looked at Ningde sitting beside him with a face full of smiles and was very happy in his heart. This President Ning was a rare guest. He couldn't invite him casually. He didn't expect him to take the initiative to visit today, haha. President Ning, why are you here this time? Guan Yulong asked politely with a smile on his face. There's a small matter, Ningde said calmly. Ah. He had also heard about what had happened to the Guan Yu family these 2 days, so he was still quite sympathetic to Guan Yulong. Unfortunately, sympathy was sympathy. They had provoked Leng Ruoxue after all. Therefore, he could only express spiritual sympathy for the Guan Yu family. Ha, President Ning, don't stand on ceremony. Just say it, Guan Yulong said very readily. Hee, President Ning took the initiative to beg him. If they owed him a favor, their Guan Yu family's pills would not have to worry in the future. He thought happily in his heart. It's like this. A guest from our Alchemist Association was snatched away by your 9th young master, so I'm here to ask for someone. Ningde said with a faint smile, his expression unreadable. What? There's such a thing? Guan Yulong was shocked and cold sweat couldn't help flowing down his back. Could it be that Patriarch Guan Yu thinks I will joke about this kind of thing? Ning De's face became stern and said somewhat coldly. Ah. President Ning, that's not what I mean. It's just that liar was grounded by me yesterday. He shouldn't have the chance to go out and snatch the esteemed guest of the Alchemist Association, right? Guan Yuelong hurriedly explained. He didn't want to ruin the friendship with the Alchemist Association because of something unnecessary. After all, the consequences would be very serious if his relationship with the Alchemist Association was bad. Moreover, their Guan Yu family didn't have an alchemist, so he needed to establish a good relationship with the Alchemist Association even more. We snatched it the day before yesterday. Someone saw with their own eyes that our guild's guest was snatched away by your 9th young master, Ning De said calmly. Ah. Who saw it? Guan Yulong couldn't help asking. Do you think he'll tell you who it is so that your Guan Yu family can silence me? Ning De said very rudely, his expression becoming colder and colder. Ah. How can that be? I just wanted to ask that person to confirm. Guan Yulong said a little embarrassed. Boo-hoo. In fact, he was thinking about how to push this matter away. He really didn't want to offend the Alchemist Association. He couldn't help cursing in his heart when he thought of this. Damn, what a worrisome thing. How could this have happened if Sierra hadn't been at home for the past 2 days? Patriarch Guan Yu, there's no need to confirm. I believe that person won't say that he's panicking, Ning De said confidently, because the person who saw it with his own eyes was him. He would have killed his way over on the same day if Miss didn't ask him to come today. Oh, someone, bring young Master Lai here, Guan Yuelong ordered. The guards outside the living room immediately went to look for him as soon as he finished speaking. Soon, Guan Yu Lai was brought to the living room. Father, you're finally willing to let me out. Hee, I knew you wouldn't bear to lock me up, Guan Yu Lai said confidently, her greasy face full of pride. Vile being, kneel down. Guan Yulong roared, a trace of imperceptible disgust flashing in his eyes. Father, why? Guan Yu Lai asked in disbelief. Kneel. Guan Yulong roared again and added a little pressure. Plop. Guan Yu Lai's knees softened and she couldn't help kneeling on the ground. Father. Guan Yu Lai looked at his father, who had always loved him with aggrieved eyes, his face full of disbelief. Boo-hoo. He couldn't believe that his father would actually shout at him in front of outsiders. This made him very embarrassed. One had to know that he was the most favored 9th young master of the Guan Yu family. Let me ask you, did you snatch someone again the day before yesterday? Guan Yulong ignored Guan Yu Lai's pitiful appearance and asked bluntly. No. Guan Yu Lai quickly denied, its eyes rolling around in panic. Boo-hoo. Could it be that the beauty had been discovered? Impossible, no one would go there at all. You still dare to deny it? How can it be fake if someone saw it with their own eyes? Guan Yulong glared and roared very angrily. Father, I really didn't. Who saw it? Let him out. Guan Yu Lai was not stupid when she was stupid. He knew very well that if he did something bad, he needed conclusive evidence. He believed that the matter with the beauty was very secretive, and no one would discover it at all, so he felt that he just needed to deny it. Patriarch Guan Yu, since the 9th young master refuses to admit it, why don't we call the guards beside him and ask him? Ning De suggested with a spurious smile. Okay. Guards, bring those guards here. Guan Yulong ordered loudly for the second time. At this moment, the anger in his heart had already risen to an unprecedented height. He was already very hungry after not eating for 2 days. Now, the Alchemist Association came knocking on his door to ask for them. He felt that he really had no face left. Yes. The guard outside the door immediately left the living room after hearing the Patriarch's order. After a while, the guards were all brought to the living room. Greetings, Patriarch. The guards bowed respectfully. However, their faces turned pale in fright when they looked up and saw the person sitting beside the patriarch. Boo-hoo! Wasn't that person a tour guide? Why was he sitting beside the patriarch? One had to know that not just anyone could sit beside the patriarch. Did the 9th young master snatch someone again the day before yesterday? Guan Yulong didn't beat around the bush and questioned directly. Yes. Yes. The guards looked at each other, nodded in unison, and said honestly. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 618, Food That Can Talk, 2, Don't Spout Nonsense. I didn't. Guan Yulai couldn't help reprimanding when he heard the guard. Shut up. Damn it, why didn't anyone tell me? Guan Yulong was furious. The guards in the family were really looking down on him even more. Patriarch, we were arranged by young Master Lai to watch over those people and couldn't leave at all. After we were transferred back by young Master this morning, we stayed in the Lai yard to play with him and didn't have the chance to leave. A guard composed himself and explained. He knew that they were now considered locusts on the vine with Feng De and the others, so what couldn't be said would definitely rot in their stomachs. Fortunately, they had discussed the excuse beforehand. Where are those people? Guan Yulong asked while suppressing his anger. However, a big question mark couldn't help surging in his heart. What do you mean by those people? They were locked in the side yard that our family abandoned by young master, the guard replied. Release those people immediately. Remember, don't slight them. Guan Yulong hurriedly ordered and glared at Guan Yulai, who didn't dare to make a sound because of his roar. Yes, the guard said quickly and left the living room. Hee, President Ning, this matter. Guan Yulong turned his head and looked at Ningde carefully. He stopped mid-sentence. Alas! He knew that it was impossible to minimize this matter since Ningde had found the door. Patriarch Guan Yu, I can't help you with this matter. Do you know who your son snatched? Ningde said with an expression that said I can't help you. Who is it? Guan Yuelong was shocked. From what Ningde said, could it be a big shot that he couldn't afford to offend? His heart turned cold at the thought of this possibility. The woman that the 9th young master snatched is the future president of our headquarters. One of his subordinates is His Excellency Du Min's beloved disciple. Ah. You do know Excellency Du Min, right? He's famous for being protective of his loved ones. Do you think I can help you? Ningde said with a very regretful expression, but he was laughing in his heart. Hee, this feeling of bullying was really good. I know. Cold sweat broke out on Guan Yulong's forehead after hearing Ningde's words. Boo-hoo. Why was their Guan Yu family so unlucky? They actually offended His Excellency Du Min and the future president of the Alchemist Association. If other families knew that their Guan Yu family had offended the Alchemist Association, which family would dare to be on good terms with them in the future? Wasn't this the end of the world for their Guan Yu family? By the way, His Excellency Du Min is currently giving pointers to those alchemist grandmasters in our association. However, he was furious after knowing about this, so your Guan Yu family can only count on yourselves. Ningde said helplessly, the expression on his face so helpless. President Ning, you can't leave this matter alone. Can you help me plead with His Excellency Du Min? My Guan Yu family is willing to come personally to ask for forgiveness, Guan Yulong requested with a pale face, his attitude very humble. Patriarch Guan Yu, don't you understand what I'm saying? That young lattice subordinate is Du Min's beloved disciple, so the root of the problem isn't His Excellency Du Min, Ningde reminded. In fact, His Excellency Du Min had said that he would listen to the young lady when he came to the Guan Yu family. I understand. Guards, invite that young lady here. Guan Yulong hurriedly nodded and ordered. Yes. The guard guarding outside the hall nodded and was about to leave to find someone when he was stopped by the patriarch. Wait, I'll go personally. Guan Yulong had already stood up after speaking and turned to Ningde beside him. President Ning, can I trouble you to accompany me? Yes, but Patriarch Guan Yu, I have to let you know in advance. Don't count on me to help you. I'm really helpless in this matter. Ningda said with a troubled face. I know. I just need President Ning to accompany me. Guan Yuelong said with a bitter smile. Alas! Why was the Guan Yu family so unlucky? They actually provoked someone from the Alchemist Association. Then let's go. Ningda nodded. Take the young master away and lock him in the cell. No one is allowed to let him out without my orders. Otherwise, the family law will serve him. Guan Yulong ordered as he looked at the guards standing in the hall before leaving. Yes, the guards hurriedly said, heaving a sigh of relief at the same time. It seemed like they were safe for the time being. None of them had expected Miss Ling's identity to be so noble. Young master, please, a guard said. Father, you can't do this. How can you treat me like this for a woman? Guan Yulai hurriedly shouted in fright when he heard that he was going to be locked in the cell. Obviously, he didn't understand the importance of Leng Ruoxu's status. What are you waiting for? Bring him there immediately. Guan Yulong roared at the guards with some annoyance. Yes, the guards replied. At the same time, they couldn't help but grumble in their hearts. Who would dare to bring the young master down without your permission? He was your son after all. They were also afraid that the patriarch would settle the score later. Guan Yulong turned his head to Ningda and said, President Ning, let's go. Okay. Ningda nodded and prepared to watch the show. The two of them strode toward the side yard that the guard mentioned. They smelled a strange fragrance entering their mouths and noses when they were far away. This fragrance was really too lethal for Guan Yulong, who had been hungry for 2 days. What's that smell? How can it be so fragrant? Ningda took a deep breath and couldn't help asking. He looked at Guan Yulong as if he was saying, what good things did your Guan Yu family hide? I don't know either. Stop, where are you going in a panic? Guan Yulong said in puzzlement. Coincidentally, he saw another clansman passing by them and stopped that person. Patriarch. The person bowed very respectfully when he saw Guan Yulong and Ningda. He might not know the person beside the patriarch, but those who could walk side by side with the patriarch were definitely not ordinary people. Where are you going? Guan Yulong asked in puzzlement. Several more clansmen ran past them while asking this clansman. They even ignored him, the patriarch. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 619, Food That Can Talk, 3. Someone seems to be grilling there, so let's go take a look, the clansman hurriedly explained. Boo-hoo. They had been hungry for 2 days, and such delicious food was not something they could refuse, so they wanted to see if they had the chance to buy some food. Patriarch Guan Yu, let's take a look too. Ningda said with great interest. President Ning, let's go see that young lady first. Guan Yulong suggested with some difficulty. He also wanted to see who was grilling and deliberately seducing them, but asking for the young lady's forgiveness was the most important thing for him now. Okay, Ningda answered understandingly. Thank you for your understanding, President Ning, Guan Yulong said gratefully. Then the two of them continued walking toward the side yard. However, they couldn't help but slow down because the smell was really too alluring. As they walked, they realized that the smell was getting stronger and more people were gathering around them. Patriarch Guan Yu, is this the side yard where Miss is locked up? Ningda couldn't help asking speechlessly when he saw Guan Yuelong stop and frown. Alas! He knew it. The Guan Yu family couldn't even lift the lid. How could they make such a beautiful smell? So it was Miss who did it. Miss' move was really too ruthless. How could people who had been hungry for 2 days stand it? Yes. Guan Yulong nodded uncomfortably, wanting to cry but had no tears. Boo-hoo. This was a coincidence. Patriarch Guan Yu, there are so many people surrounding the door. It seems like it won't be easy for us to enter. Ningda said as if it was difficult. No, I'll get them to disperse. Guan Yulong shouted, disperse. However, no one bothered with him. Family head Guan Yu, I think your voice is too soft. Ningda reminded. In fact, he had long been laughing in his heart. Ha, this was the power of food. Disperse. Guan Yulong roared furiously. Boo-hoo. It seemed like he couldn't get his face back. However, the response was still in the dark heads of the people behind him. Ah. Family head Guan Yu, forget it. Stop shouting. They will naturally disperse when the smell is gone. Ningda couldn't help being comforted. He even felt some pity for Guan Yulong now. Alas. This family head's status in the hearts of his clansmen was actually inferior to food. Alas. That's the only way. Guan Yulong sighed heavily and said helplessly. Ningda found a random place to sit down and stole a glance at Guan Yulong, whose face was a little dark. Apart from pity, he was also sympathetic. In the yard. Leng Ruoxue, the freak, and Empty were sitting on the stone chairs as handlers. Zheng En, Feng De, and the others handled the food nimbly. The onlookers at the entrance of the yard and the angry old man in front of them were naturally ignored. Damn it, I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? The sixth elder roared furiously, cursing in his heart non-stop. Damn, these people actually dared to not take him, the sixth elder, seriously. He would definitely not let them go. Unfortunately, Leng Ruoxue and the others didn't even look at him. Guards, arrest these thieves who stole our Guan Yu family's food. The sixth elder roared at the people behind him without any face, seeing that he was ignored. However, no one bothered with him at all because almost everyone was drooling and staring intently at the food in Feng De and the others' hands with shining eyes. Nothing was more important than the delicious food in front of them now. First elder, are we just going to let sixth elder do this? The fifth elder asked the first elder beside him softly in the crowd. He couldn't help being surprised. Where did these people come from? Can you stop him? The first elder sighed softly and said helplessly. Alas. The sixth elder was already going crazy from hunger. The three people sitting there were obviously not to be trifled with. He was experienced and knowledgeable, and had seen countless people. He knew very well that the Guan Yu family was probably in trouble this time. First elder, I think I heard the patriarch's voice just now. Fifth elder said uncertainly. Go out and take a look. If not, go find the patriarch yourself, the first elder said after some thought. He had only been paying attention to the food just now and didn't hear anything at all. However, now that things had come to this, he felt that it was better for the patriarch to come personally lest things couldn't be sorted out in the end. Yes, first elder. Don't forget to buy some for me if they are willing to sell these food. The fifth elder didn't forget to remind him before leaving. Yes, go quickly. First elder urged. Alas. At this point, how could he be in the mood to eat? He wanted to know more about why these people appeared in the Guan Yu family. However, he wouldn't directly say that they were thieves like the sixth elder. I'm going. Fifth elder slowly arched out of the crowd like a snail after speaking. Yes, sixth elder. First elder nodded and then said helplessly. First elder, you're here. I found the thieves. Hurry up and send people to capture these thieves. The sixth elder was excited as if he had seen help after seeing the first elder. Hee, these food was finally going to belong to them. Shut up. The first elder couldn't bear it anymore and scolded. He glared fiercely at the sixth elder and turned his head to Leng Ruoxue and the others and said very politely, I'm sorry, everyone. Our Guan Yu family has been rude. May I know why you have come to our Guan Yu family? The sixth elder instinctively shut his mouth after being roared by the first elder. You are the first elder of the Guan Yu family? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyelids slightly and said very coldly when she saw that a heavyweight was finally willing to appear. Yes, he. May I know why Miss and the others came to our Guanyu family? The first elder said very amiably, a faint smile hanging on old Sang's face the entire time. After all, he would absolutely not act rashly without knowing these people's identities. First elder, they're obviously here to steal from our Guanyu family. They're the thieves we've been looking for 2 days. We finally found them today. The sixth elder said anxiously after resting for a while. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 620, Food That Can Talk. 4. Shut up. First elder roared with a black face. First elder, you should send people to arrest them, not ask me to shut up. The sixth elder's anger rose and he directly roared at the first elder. He would not dare to speak so loudly in front of the patriarch and first elder usually, let alone shout at them. However, he had been hungry for 2 days and had almost lost his mind, so he had to obtain these food. The Guanyu family really doesn't differentiate between seniors and juniors. I only found out today that the first elder of the Guanyu family can be shouted at by anyone. Leng Ruoxue said mockingly with a light smile after looking at the crazy sixth elder. Ah. Miss, don't misunderstand. Sixth elder's mental state has been a little abnormal these past 2 days, so I won't take it to heart with him, first elder explained without anger. First elder. You're the one with abnormal mental health. You actually didn't arrest the thief when you saw him. You're really too useless. The anger in the sixth elder's heart surged when he heard that the first elder actually embarrassed him in front of outsiders and even said that he was mentally ill. At this moment, whatever he was afraid of had long been thrown to Java. First elder, right? Seems like this crazy sixth elder doesn't appreciate your kindness, the noble and elegant Empty said with a faint smile. You said we are thieves. Do you have any evidence? After speaking to the first elder, Empty turned his head and stared at the sixth elder with his pitch-black and gloomy eyes as he asked calmly. Of course there are. Firstly, this is the territory of our Guanyu family. Why are you here? Secondly, these food you're grilling now are obviously our Guanyu family's things. 2 days ago, our Guanyu family was robbed. Now that the evidence is conclusive and the stolen goods are all here, what else do you have to say? The sixth elder didn't give the first elder any chance to speak at all. The expression on his face became more and more smug as he looked at these food that emitted an alluring fragrance in front of him. The first elder sighed and fell silent after hearing what the sixth elder said. Alas! He knew that things were not under his control at all. Patriarch, I've tried my best. Come quickly. He prayed silently in his heart. Sixth elder speaks clearly. Seems like he's really not sick. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Not bad, not bad. Even pigs took the initiative to fall into a trap. Of course I'm not sick. Humph. You thieves dare to steal our Guanyu family's food. You're dead meat. The sixth elder became even more smug. Sixth elder, you said that we grilled the food of your Guanyu family. Do you have evidence? Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. In fact, the sixth elder was right. The food that the Guanyu family had lost these 2 days was indeed eliminated by her subordinates and the beasts. Of course, there was also the traitor of the Guanyu family. However, he didn't have evidence. She knew that the sixth elder's goal was only for the food in front of her. He didn't care if it was the Guanyu family at all. What she wanted was this effect, so she was very grateful for the sixth elder's cooperation. Yes, that's sixth elder, do you know what we grilled? Fengde, who had been cooking, couldn't help asking. Actually, he had been suppressing it for a long time, but Miss hadn't said anything yet. He couldn't ruin Miss' plan. Roast meat. What else can it be? The sixth elder said with certainty. Even though this meat smelled very fragrant, meat was meat, not something rare. It was also used to test him. He really despised his intelligence. Miss, take out the food and let the food tell us for yourself. Are they from the Guan Yu family? Feng De suggested with a smile, already overjoyed in his heart. He had already foreseen the expression of the sixth elder when he saw the food. Humph. Do you think him a 3-year-old child? How can food speak? The sixth elder roared in disbelief, but he was pleasantly surprised in his heart. He couldn't help shouting, take it out quickly. This bit isn't enough. Then let the food speak for itself. Leng Ruoxue moved the food from the bracelet with a thought. They occupied the entire yard as soon as they emerged. What do you want? Do you want to fight? I'm warning you not to do anything rash. This is the territory of our Guan Yu family. The sixth elder looked at the dozens of giant pythons that suddenly appeared and occupied the yard and surrounded him. His face was pale from fright, and he stammered a little as he spoke. His entire body was trembling non-stop, and his legs were so weak that he could barely stand. Boo-hoo! He was most afraid of snakes, and each of these snakes was so huge. However, he forced himself not to faint because he was afraid that he would become food in their huge mouths after pressing down on these giant pythons. The first elder also looked at the giant python not far away with his mouth agape, thinking to himself, could those delicious food be python meat? Boo-hoo! No one dared to eat snakes in the boundless heaven continent. It was not that they didn't want to eat them, but they couldn't afford to offend them. Because the pythons on the boundless heaven continent lived in groups. Similarly, the people from the Guan Yu family, who had been watching by the door, were also scared. Some people who were afraid of snakes even fainted from fright after seeing these pythons that gave off immense pressure. Sixth elder, don't you not believe that food can talk? I've brought the food out. Ask them yourself. Leng Ruoxue pointed at the pythons and urged the sixth elder. They are food. Who are you lying to? The sixth elder stammered, his face full of disbelief. Boo-hoo! He would not believe that these snakes were food. He would rather believe that these snakes were the beasts of this woman in front of him, that she deliberately let them out to scare him. If you don't believe me, let them say it themselves. Leng Ruoxue shrugged and said helplessly. We are the food raised by Mississippi. The highest level black python among the pythons complained with tears in its eyes. Its demeanor and expression looked so pitiful. Boo-hoo! It was a level 7 transcendent divine beast. However, it could not become Miss Beast. Moreover, Miss always threatened these poor snakes, saying that whoever had the lowest level would eat it the next time they wanted to eat snake meat. They were so scared that they did not dare to delay at all and cultivated diligently. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 621, Food That Can Talk, 5. However, after following Miss for so long, Miss treated them really well and often gave them delicious things. Therefore, if Miss really wanted to eat them, they were also willing to be eaten by Mississippi. After all, Miss had long been the master in their hearts. This was absolutely the thoughts of the pythons. Sixth elder, did you hear that? Leng Ruoxue ignored the python's pitiful gaze and said directly to the sixth elder. I don't believe it, the sixth elder roared in disbelief. In fact, he wasn't the only one who couldn't accept it. Many people from the Guan Yu family also couldn't accept it. However, their thoughts were different from the sixth elders. They just felt that this fact was too unbelievable. Sixth elder doesn't believe you. Leng Ruoxue looked at the pythons with a spurious smile. Damn it, how dare you doubt my words? Are you tired of living? The black python roared furiously. Humph. How dare you not believe me? Do you think I would lie about something like this? I can be as obedient as a kitten in front of my young miss and the others, but there's no need for me to swallow my anger in front of this damn old man. Moreover, this damn old man provoked my young miss, so it's even more unforgivable. Big brother, Kill him, a blue water python suggested. It rolled up the sixth elder with its thick tail, and its cold blue eyes stared at the sixth elder like it was staring at its prey. Ah! Help! The sixth elder was enrolled in the semi-high school. All the blood in his body rushed to his head. He couldn't help screaming loudly as he looked at the pythons with fierce eyes below him. Boo-hoo! He wanted to faint now, but he was very energetic. Moreover, he didn't feel anything except fear at this moment. TCH, coward, what a useless thing. If you can be an elder at your level, then I can be the patriarch, the blue water python said with contempt. First elder, save me. The sixth elder pleaded again. Boo-hoo. He was really scared. However, the first elder didn't even raise his head as if he didn't hear it. He only looked down at his new shoes. Humph. Save you? You can count on yourself. I can't save you. How could he dare to snatch someone from the python's tail? Big brother, do we do it? The water python asked after the sixth elder asked for help. Kill, the black python ordered coldly. Humph. It was a level 7 transcendent divine beast with strength equivalent to a mystic supremacy. That damn old man actually dared to doubt its words. He had really lived enough. Okay. The water python was about to attack when it was interrupted. Keep your men. Guan Yulong, who had squeezed into the yard with great difficulty, said loudly. He also glared fiercely at the sixth elder, who wanted to faint but couldn't. Moreover, he was so scared that he peed his pants while foaming at the mouth. Who is it? The water python roared in displeasure. Ah! I'm the patriarch of the Guan Yu family, Guan Yulong. Please show mercy and spare his life, Guan Yulong pleaded. He hated the incompetent sixth elder to the core, but the sixth elder was a member of the Guan Yu family after all. It would be a great humiliation for their Guan Yu family if they were killed by a snake in front of him. Therefore, this kind of thing absolutely couldn't happen under his nose. Oh, so you're the boss of this coward. Humph. This coward actually dares to question our big brother's words. Tell me what to do, the water python questioned unforgivingly. Guan Yulong was at a loss for words. What could he do? Helpless, he couldn't help turning his gaze to Ningda, hoping that Ningda could put in a few good words for him. However, the words helpless were written in Ningda's eyes. In fact, he was quite curious about these pythons because he just heard them calling themselves food. Ah! Miss actually raised powerful pythons as food. It was really too awesome. Guan Yulong knew that he couldn't say anything when he saw Ningda's expression. Therefore, his gaze couldn't help searching the yard. His eyes couldn't help lighting up when his eyes moved to the three people sitting by the stone table because the three people in front of him were really too outstanding. The man was incomparably handsome, and the woman was drop-dead gorgeous. They were all of heaven's charm. The man and woman leaning against each other were mystic monarchs, and the other man's strength was unfathomable to the point that even he couldn't tell. He sighed softly and carefully passed through the huge python group that occupied the entire yard to arrive in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others. He bowed slightly and said, Miss Leng, I've neglected you. I'm really sorry for making you suffer. Family head Guan Yu, is it? I'm not the one being wronged now, but my food. How dare you question the words of a level 7 transcendent divine beast? Your family's sixth elder is quite bold. Leng Ruoxue said coldly. I'm willing to apologize to Miss Leng and your food on behalf of the Guan Yu family. I hope Miss Leng will spare the sixth elder's life, Guan Yulong requested very kindly. However, he couldn't help but grumble in his heart. How could anyone treat a level 7 transcendent divine beast as food? It would be strange if anyone believed it. Patriarch Guan Yu, the Guan Yu family is a top family. There's really no need for a powerless little girl like me to bow and scrape. I can't bear it. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of fright. Ah! This matter was originally our Guan Yu family's fault. Therefore, you can completely bear it. 2 drops of cold sweat couldn't help hanging on Guan Yuelong's forehead. He thought to himself, who dared to say that the future president of the Alchemist Association was a powerless little girl? He was the first to be anxious with that person. Boo-hoo. In the boundless heaven continent, the only ones who could be compared with the 3 major super families were probably only the 4 major guilds. Even though the Guan Yu family was a top-notch family, they were not even a fart in front of the 4 major guilds. Patriarch Guan Yu, some things can't be treated as if nothing happened with an apology, Leng Ruoxue reminded kindly, seeing that Guan Yulong's attitude was still considered sincere. Ah. Miss, feel free to request anything. Guan Yulong said very humbly. He knew that it was probably impossible to resolve this matter peacefully after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words. Alas. He only hoped that this woman's request would not be too ridiculous now. After all, he was unwilling to fall out with the Mystic Association. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 622, This is our food expenses, 1, requirement. What does Patriarch Guan Yu mean? Do you think I want to take advantage of you? Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows slightly and said very displeased. Ah. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that our Guan Yu family has let Miss suffer. I'm willing to compensate Miss on behalf of the Guan Yu family, Guan Yulong hurriedly explained. Boo-hoo. He didn't understand. He didn't say anything either. Why did he anger Leng Ruoxue? Miss, the meat is grilled. At this moment, Feng De deliberately walked to Leng Ruoxue and the others with a few pieces of grilled meat and handed them the meat. Thank you. Leng Ruoxue took the delicious and greasy meat, put it in her mouth, and took a small bite. A unique fragrance of meat drifted into Guan Yuelong's nose along the breeze. It smells so good. Guan Yuelong couldn't help taking a deep breath and muttering in his heart, boo-hoo. Eating it in front of me is obviously deliberately craving me. It's too much. Patriarch Guan Yu, would you like some? Leng Ruoxue looked at the few pieces of grilled meat left on the table and asked politely. However, before Guan Yuelong could answer, Empty said, Shuer, Patriarch Guan Yuelong is experienced and knowledgeable. What good things have he not eaten before? Why would he want a few pieces of grilled meat? Yes, that's true. Leng Ruoxue said understandingly and stopped giving in. However, she couldn't help laughing secretly in her heart when she saw the constipated expression on Guan Yuelong's face. Ha! Boo-hoo! Guan Yulong was so angry seeing the two of them echoing each other. He was really angry that they seduced him but didn't let him eat them. Evil people. Miss, I'm very sincere. What's your opinion? Guan Yulong turned his gaze away from the alluring food and asked again. Patriarch Guan Yu, you should coax my food first. I've raised them for so long. If their mood affects the quality of the meat, then there's nothing to talk about. Leng Ruoxue didn't directly answer Guan Yulong but didn't refuse his suggestion. Ah. All right then. Guan Yulong couldn't help saying gloomily. Boo-hoo. Not only could he not eat those food, he actually had to coax them. What was this? Then go quickly. We'll have a chance to talk after coaxing them. Otherwise, I won't let anyone who dares to bully me off. Leng Ruoxue half urged and half warned. All right, please wait a moment, Mississippi. Guan Yulong smiled bitterly and came to the highest level black python and said, May I know your name? How can anyone tell me my name? The black python raised its head high and said arrogantly, its cold eyes not even looking at Guan Yulong, Then how should I address you? 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Guan Yuelong's forehead. This python seems to be very angry. Look at this attitude, it's not friendly at all. Up to you, the black python said coldly, its expression still cool. Then I'll call you Brother Black. Brother Black, can you not let your brother let go of the 6th elder? Guan Yulong probed. Alas! The sixth elder was already foaming from being hung. Wouldn't he vomit blood if this continued? Who do you think you are? Let me tell you, I won't let the sixth elder drip. I think he likes to swing like this. Don't worry, I'll let my brothers take turns to play with him. He promised not to be lonely with us, the black python promised. Ah! Guan Yulong was helpless. Why was this black python so stubborn? He looked at the sixth elder and couldn't help but sigh. Alas! Forget it, it was fine as long as the sixth elder didn't die. He shouldn't care about the others. Don't worry, I won't kill him. We don't eat raw meat now. The black python saw through Guan Yulong's thoughts and comforted him. Hee, they wouldn't attack before Miss said anything. They just wanted to scare them just now. Oh, thank you. Brother Black, I apologize to you on behalf of the sixth elder. You're a magnanimous person, so don't be angry with him, okay? Guan Yulong coaxed very nicely. Oh no, he's just a mystic sovereign. How dare he doubt my words? He deserves to die. The black python said without giving him any face. Then what will make you not angry? Guan Yulong asked implicitly. Boo-hoo. He almost said what are the conditions again just now. However, he didn't dare to say that anymore with Leng Ruoxia's example. Let me think. The black python frowned and began thinking. Okay, take your time thinking about it. Guan Yulong hurriedly said happily when he heard that there was a door. Then he stood to the side and didn't disturb the black python. The first elder quietly walked to Guan Yulong's side with slight suspicion. He was about to say something when Guan Yulong stopped him with a look, indicating that it was not the time to speak. After receiving the patriarch's hint, the first elder also stood to the side tactfully, not disturbing the black python's contemplation. However, he had many questions in his heart because the patriarch's attitude toward the young girl was really too strange. Moreover, the patriarch didn't even ask about their identities but was so polite to them, which couldn't help making him very curious. The black python not far away was frowning in thought. However, it couldn't think of anything after thinking for a long time. Moreover, it was a little tired from thinking. It lay on the ground and closed its eyes. A few hours later. The black python still didn't open its eyes. Not only that, but the sound of snoring came from its body. This couldn't help but make Guan Yulong and the first elder's faces blacken, and they couldn't help but grumble in their hearts in unison. They had been standing there foolishly for several hours, but not only did the black python not give them any answer, it even fell asleep. Boo-hoo! They were so depressed. How could there be such a top-grade snake? What they didn't know was that the beasts beside Leng Ruoxue were all smart even if they didn't have a contract. How could they let them succeed so easily? Moreover, Guan Yulong found that no one on Leng Ruoxue's side was waiting at all except for him, the first elder, and the clansmen of the Guan Yu family who were waiting eagerly. They were doing what they should be doing. As for Ningda, he had long found a sunny place to bask in the sun because he had eaten too much grilled meat. He didn't intend to pay attention to the trivial matter between them at all. Anyway, he had already said what he wanted to say. As for the outcome later, it was not up to him to decide, so he naturally didn't have to participate. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 623, This is our food expenses, 2, Patriarch, can't we continue waiting like this? The first elder, whose legs were a little sore from standing, couldn't help transmitting his voice. He was tired and hungry now. Moreover, he was really jealous of Fengde and the others to death seeing so much grilled meat that they could see but couldn't eat. However, those were their things. They didn't intend to share them with them, so they couldn't snatch them by force. What else can we do if we don't wait? I don't want to provoke these people. Alas! Guan Yulong said very gloomily and couldn't help but sigh. The clansmen who had been surrounding the door had already dispersed automatically. However, They had no choice but to wait here for their answer. Alas! Being the patriarch was not something a person could do. Patriarch, who are these people? The first elder couldn't help asking curiously. Speaking of which, he had already endured for several hours, but the patriarch didn't allow him to speak. Alas! I'm afraid it's easy to invite a god but difficult to send a god away. Guan Yuelong told the first elder about Leng Ruox's identity and requested him to keep it a secret. In fact, he was very clear that Leng Ruoxue would probably not let the Guan Yu family off easily. Alas! Their Guan Yu family had really kicked an iron plate this time. He didn't have any other requests now, but he hoped that the Guan Yu family's outcome would not be too tragic after this incident. He was satisfied. After all, there were few people sending charcoal in the snow these days, but there were many people adding insult to injury. If others knew that the Guan Yu family had offended the Alchemist Association, then the Guan Yu family would probably be really finished. And this matter was provoked by that unfilial son, so it was really difficult for him, the patriarch, to bear the blame. Patriarch, if this matter isn't handled properly, it will really have a huge impact on the family, the first elder reminded. Alas! He finally knew why the patriarch was so submissive now. Guan Yu Lai really brought a disaster to the family. At this moment, they still didn't know that this matter was not caused by Guan Yu Lai but the head of the sixth elder who was hanging and swaying. Yes, I know. First elder, I didn't discipline this matter well. I'll take the initiative to resign from the position of the patriarch and pass the patriarch to Sierra after this matter is over. Guan Yuelong said very cautiously. Patriarch, this isn't your fault. You don't have to do this, first elder comforted. The black python was finally willing to wake up while the two of them were communicating via voice transmission. It looked up at everyone present with hazy eyes, then fixed its gaze on Guan Yuelong and said, I thought about it very seriously. Your sixth elder actually dared to question a level 7 transcendent divine beast. His suspicion has seriously hurt my heart, so compensate me with some mental damage compensation. Mental damage compensation? Guan Yuelong was stunned and his face was full of disbelief. Ah! Did it want money? However, he couldn't understand why a snake wanted money. It didn't know how to spend it. Yes? Why can't you bear to part with it? The black python raised its head and looked directly at Guan Yuelong with its cold eyes. It might not be Miss Beast, but it knew very well that Miss wanted to raise too many people or beasts, so it wanted some money to be the living expenses of these pythons. After all, Miss said that they would be given full authority to handle this matter, and they were not interested in anything other than money. No. I just don't know how much mental damage compensation you want. Guan Yuelong hurriedly asked. Alas! He was willing to pay a little if he could use money to settle this python. No need, just 10 billion purple coins will do. The black python said after some thought. 10 billion. Guan Yuelong almost lost his balance and fell to the ground when he heard what the black python said. Damn! This python really opened its mouth wide. 10 billion was a third of the assets of the Guan Yu family. Could it be that their Guan Yu family would lose a third of their assets just for this python's injured little heart? Thinking of this, his heart ached. Patriarch, what should we do? The first elder looked at the patriarch whose face had turned the color of pig liver and couldn't help asking via voice transmission. First elder, I've let down the ancestors of the family. Guan Yuelong replied with a slight sob. Boo-hoo. A snake was going to take a third of the family's assets. How much would its master have to pay? Patriarch, what's the point of saying these now? Why don't you ask it? Can't we give sixth elder to them to play with less money? First elder suggested. In his opinion, sixth elder was not as important as the assets of the Guan Yu family. First elder, this isn't too good, right? The sixth elder is a member of our Guan Yu family after all. If we hand him over, where will the dignity of our Guan Yu family be? What will the other families think of us in the future? Guan Yuelong didn't agree with the first elder's words. He didn't really want to save the sixth elder, but he couldn't leave him alone for the sake of the family's reputation. Could it be that we really have to take out 10 billion to end this matter? The first elder asked very reluctantly. Although many shops in the Guan Yu family were very profitable, 10 billion was not a small sum. Moreover, no family could easily take out 10 billion except for the three major families, so their Guan Yu family actually did not have that much cash. First elder, do you have any good ideas? Guan Yu Long said expectantly. Alas! Apart from Sierre, the first elder was the person he trusted the most. However, Sierre was not here now, so the only person he could discuss with was the first elder. Patriarch, should we look for that young lady again? The first elder frowned and thought for a while. However, his mind was in a mess now, and he couldn't think of any good ideas at all, so he could only suggest to start with Leng Ruoxue. It's useless. First elder, did you forget her words? We only have the qualifications to negotiate with her after coaxing her food. Alas! Guan Yuelong said very helplessly. Alas! The first elder also sighed in his heart. Your Excellency Black Python, we don't want the sixth elder anymore. Can you ask for less money? Our Guan Yu family really can't take out so much money. The first elder looked at the black python pitifully, trying to obtain its sympathy. Alas! Since the patriarch couldn't be this evil person, then let him do it. Okay, I'll charge you 1 million less, the black python said shyly. It looked at the sixth elder, who was still hanging in the air and had fainted from the sun, and pondered in its heart. This old fellow isn't worth 1 million, right? It couldn't help but regret it when it thought of this. Boo-hoo! Why was it so kind? It actually agreed just because the old man looked pitiful. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 624, This is Our Food Expenses, 3, The first elder was stunned and fell silent because he really didn't expect that their Guan Yu family's sixth elder was actually only worth 1 million in the eyes of that black python. In fact, he was wrong. The sixth elder was worthless in the black python's eyes. It only agreed because it saw that the first elder was already so old and opened its mouth to retort, so it didn't refuse with good intentions. Guan Yu, is there a problem? The black python couldn't help asking when it saw Guan Yu Long not speaking for a long time. No, no problem, Guan Yu Long said with a black line hanging on his forehead. Boo-hoo! Could he say that there was a big problem? He only wanted to solve this matter quickly now, so he could only admit that he was unlucky. Therefore, he ignored even the black python calling him Guan Yu Long. Oh, I agreed to let your Guan Yu family use the sixth elder to repay the debt, so you can pay 1 million less, the black python reminded kindly, as if it was afraid that they would forget. Ah! We don't need the sixth elder to repay the debt, Guan Yu Long said hurriedly. Alas! The Guan Yu family had already paid 10 billion. Would they still care about a mere 1 million? Guan Yu brat, actually, this old man is really useless. You have to give him food. You've really lost too much. The black python sighed, but it couldn't help being smug in its heart. Hee, it was smart, right? It really admired itself too much. Moreover, it wanted some money because it knew that the Guan Yu family would definitely not let the sixth elder go, so killing the sixth elder or not made no difference to it. Ah! Can you invite your young miss out? Guan Yu Long said speechlessly and changed the topic. He didn't want to talk about the sixth elder now. No, you haven't paid yet. The black python refused immediately. They had to pay according to the miss rules. Before they saw the money, they couldn't let her go or let him see the Mississippi. We don't have that much money on hand, so you have to give us a few days. Find that young lady first. I want to talk to her, Guan Yu Long said nicely. Boo-hoo. After the black python fell asleep, the young lady also entered the house to take an afternoon nap. As a big man, he couldn't go directly into the house to look for her through these covetous pythons, right? Hand over the money and the person at the same time. Otherwise, don't even think about seeing Miss again, the black python said stubbornly. Our family really doesn't have that much money now, Guan Yulong said anxiously, looking like he was about to cry. Boo-hoo. Who would put so much money at home for no reason? Of course, money had to flow. It's fine if you don't have money or something. I don't mind as long as it's worth 10 billion, the black python said very nicely and gave them a good idea. First elder, please take my token to the warehouse. Guan Yulong said speechlessly after hearing the black python's words. Alas! Beasts were smarter than humans these days. Would their families still be worried about not becoming strong if there were a few more shrewd clansmen like the black python in the Guan Yu family? Yes. The first elder was also very helpless. He took the token handed to him by Guan Yulong and turned to leave the yard. Seeing that its goal had been achieved, the black python ignored Guan Yulong and lay directly on the ground. Guan Yulong also found a random place to sit down. For a time, no one from either side spoke, and the atmosphere instantly became depressed. About an hour later, the anxious first elder returned to the yard. He hurriedly handed the ring in his hand to Guan Yulong after seeing him. Then he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead, his heart aching. Brother Black, the money is ready. Guan Yulong looked at the things in the ring through his divine sense and then said to the black python. Yes, don't lie to me. I might not know how to count, but my young miss won't let you go if she knows that you dare to lie to me, the black python warned and then rolled up the ring in Guan Yulong's hand with its tail. Your Excellency Black Python, don't worry. The value of the things inside is only much higher, the first elder said hurriedly. Alas! In order to not cause trouble for the family, he chose the best items to take apart from money. Moreover, the value estimated was lower than the market price, so he was very confident that the other party would definitely be satisfied with the things in the ring. That's good, miss. The black python nodded with satisfaction and then shouted at the top of its lungs. Its loud voice not only woke Leng Ruoxue up, but also Feng De and the others, who had run to the corner to sleep. What's the matter? What happened? Feng De and the others hurriedly got up, ran to the black python, and asked worriedly. It's okay, hee. Miss, this is our food allowance. The black python transformed into a little black snake, crawled onto Leng Ruoxue's wrist, and handed the ring hanging on its tail to her. It shook its head very happily. Boo-hoo. They ate too well every day. They didn't need to do anything except cultivate, so they all gained weight. Hee, it was finally able to contribute to Miss today. It was so happy. At least you have a conscience. Leng Ruoxue raised her eyebrows slightly and caressed the little black snake's head. She really didn't raise them for nothing. They actually knew how to earn money. Hee. The black python smiled shyly. In fact, it really didn't do anything. Leng Ruoxue removed the ring hanging on the tip of the black python's tail and checked what was inside with her divine sense. She was very satisfied with the first elder's performance. It seemed that this old man was sensible and didn't use some trash to fool them. In that case, she naturally wouldn't kill the Guan Yu family. After all, she was not a violent and bloodthirsty person. Alas! Look at how sensible and protective this food of hers was. One had to know that there were too many ingrates who were not familiar with her now. However, if even a food could be raised to such an extent, why couldn't some humans? Guan Yulong and the first elder praised in their hearts. They were sincerely envious, jealous, and hateful towards Leng Ruoxue for possessing such a sensible Gu family's food. Patriarch Guan Yu, since you've coaxed my food, let's talk about what happened between us now. Leng Ruoxue looked up at Guan Yulong, who was looking at her expectantly. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 625, this is our food expenses, for, Miss Leng, I'm very sorry for my son's actions, Guan Yulong hurriedly said. Alas! One of his food cost 10 billion. He really didn't know how to compensate this eldest Mississippi patriarch Guan Yu. We are not fools, so don't talk about a fool, Leng Ruoxue said calmly. She didn't care about that fool Guan Yuelai at all. Moreover, she came willingly. Ah! Then what does Miss Leng want to talk to me about? Guan Yulong said uneasily. Alas! When he saw these people today, he knew that his good-for-nothing unfilial son didn't have the ability to snatch them back at all. They obviously came knocking on his door deliberately. However, he couldn't explain it. Since Leng Ruoxue had made it clear, he naturally had no concerns. Otherwise, he was really afraid of angering her. After all, that unfilial son really had the motive to snatch, so he couldn't blame her at all. Let's talk about how you chased the guests out of the inn. Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Ah! When did this happen? Guan Yulong asked in puzzlement. He had been keeping an eye on the preparations for the flower viewing convention recently. Moreover, something had happened to the moon-gazing restaurant, so he really didn't know about this matter. A few days ago, I heard that you had to chase us out of the inn in order to give the Wu family an explanation. Fortunately, we left early. Otherwise, we might have been injured. Leng Ruoxue touched on the sore spot and said with a faint smile. Give an explanation to the Wu family. Why should we give an explanation to the Wu family? Guan Yulong immediately exploded when he heard the word Wu family. You have to ask yourselves. I'm also puzzled. The Guan Yu family is stronger than the Wu family in terms of status and position on the boundless heaven continent. However, they actually have to look at the Wu family's expression. I really can't understand. Can Patriarch Guan Yu give me a satisfactory explanation? Leng Ruoxue said very indifferently. She had stayed in the Guan Yu family for 2 days and was very clear that Guan Yuelong would explode if he heard the Wu family. Therefore, there was no need for her to sow discord at all, hee. That's impossible. I absolutely won't give that dead thing any explanation. Guan Yulong denied resolutely because he really didn't do it, and no one had told him. Patriarch, the moon-gazing restaurant has indeed invited a few guests. The first elder gently tugged at Guan Yulong's sleeve and whispered. The sixth elder, who was incompetent and good at causing trouble, hated it to the core. He originally thought that it was young Master Lai who provoked the matter and had some complaints about the ninth young master who led the wolf into the house. However, he now understood that the source of the trouble was the sixth elder. When did this happen? Guan Yulong questioned with a cold face and was very displeased. It was when Wu Qian'er was injured. You didn't let me intervene, so I handed the matter to the sixth elder to handle. However, I didn't expect him to actually chase the guest who injured Wu Qian'er out of the moon-gazing restaurant. First elder explained in a whisper, but his words couldn't hide from Leng Ruoxue and the others at all. Why didn't you tell me about this? Guan Yulong said through gritted teeth. He also looked at the sixth elder, who was still hanging, and the resentment in his heart couldn't subside. I was afraid that the patriarch would be angry. In addition, when I found out, the guests had already been driven out. Later, something happened to the moon-gazing restaurant. I was busy dealing with the matters there, so I forgot about this matter. Alas! It's all my fault for being careless. If I knew that these ancestors were the ones who were chased out, I would have invited them back even if I had to flip the entire moon-gazing city. The first elder said with a face full of regret. Boo-hoo. He was also responsible for this matter. What's the point of saying all this now? Let's think about how to deal with the aftermath. Alas! Guan Yulong sighed. Was this considered a disaster that came in pairs? Especially since this matter involved the Wu family, he couldn't let it go, and the anger in his heart became even greater. Have you discussed it? Leng Ruoxue smiled lightly and looked at the first elder and Guan Yulong, who had been whispering. Ah! May I know what Miss' plans are for this matter? Guan Yulong said very politely. Boo-hoo. He didn't dare to be rude. He knew that if this matter was not handled well, it would absolutely be a great calamity for the Guan Yu family. When I left the moon-gazing restaurant, I asked the shopkeeper to tell the Guan Yu patriarch not to regret it, so do it yourself. I don't care if you want to be my enemy. Leng Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Ah. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Guan Yulong's forehead. Boo-hoo, threatening him again. He didn't receive the message from the shopkeeper. He couldn't help being a little angry at this point. He was the patriarch of the Guan Yu family, but the people below actually hid so many things from him. How ridiculous. Miss, the patriarch and I didn't receive the message from the inn's shopkeeper. If we knew, we definitely wouldn't allow this to happen. The first elder wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and explained. This isn't a reason, so you should think about how to give me an explanation. Tomorrow is the flower viewing convention of Moon Gazing City. I know you will take this very seriously, so I won't ask you to do anything during this period. The time I give you is 3 days after the flower viewing convention. You have to give me an answer, Leng Ruoxue said very understandingly. Thank you for your understanding, Miss, Guan Yulong said gratefully and seemed to be relieved. In fact, he was really afraid that this eldest miss would not let it go. He was even more afraid that the news that their Guan Yu family had offended the Alchemist Association would spread. That way, their family's status in the boundless heaven continent would plummet. As the patriarch, this was the last thing he wanted to see. Ningda, let's go. Leng Ruoxue called out to the corner. Coming. Ningda, whose belly was full from the grilled meat, walked to Leng Ruoxue with some difficulty and said respectfully. You must be very full now. Leng Ruoxue said speechlessly. She took out a pill and handed it to Ningda. Hee. Ningda took the pill and directly put it in his mouth, immediately feeling much more comfortable in his stomach. Let's go. Hurry up and throw away the trash on your tail. Leng Ruoxue looked at the pythons and said to the water python. It turned out that the unlucky 6th elder was still hanging and swaying on the water python's tail. Alas! The Guan Yu family had already paid but didn't know how to return their trash. Please report us if you find any errors so we can fix it ASAP. Chapter 626, Attending the Flower Appreciation Festival with Different Thoughts. 1. Yes, he'll return him to you. This old man stinks to death. The water python hurriedly threw the stinky old man hanging on its tail in front of Guan Yulong with a look of disdain when it heard Leng Ruoxue's words. Ah! Guan Yulong looked at the 6th elder who had been thrown in front of him and hesitated about whether he should take back this trash. In fact, he wanted to destroy this trash that occupied a lot of space more now. Patriarch, lock the 6th elder in the cell first. The 1st elder, who saw through Guan Yulong's thoughts, said hurriedly. Alas! He knew that the 6th elder was dead for sure this time. However, he didn't pity the 6th elder because he had really harmed the family badly this time. Yes. Guan Yulong nodded. Sorry for being rude. The 1st elder said to Leng Ruoxue and the others. Then he walked forward, picked up the 6th elder's collar, and brought him out of the yard like he was carrying a sack, throwing him into the cell. Patriarch Guan Yu, well, take our leave. Leng Ruoxue stored the pythons in the bracelet and said to Guan Yu along. Okay, I'll send you off, Guan Yulong said very warmly. There's no need. If Patriarch Guan Yu sends us out personally, we won't have any peace in the future, Leng Ruoxue teased. Ah. All right then. Guan Yulong said helplessly. Boo-hoo. It's because you like peace and quiet that you harmed us. Alas. How could this have happened if we knew their identities beforehand? However, the Wu family should be in a worse state than them, right? His mood instantly brightened up when he thought of this. One had to know that Wu Ming would not be as flexible as him. He knew very well that the Wu family would not let this eldest miss go, so he seemed to have foreseen the tragic state of the Wu family. Ha! Happy! Let's go! Leng Ruoxue looked at everyone and said. With that, she swaggered and left the Guanyue family clan smoothly. Walking on the streets of Moonview City, Ningde wanted to say something but stopped himself. Old Ning. Say whatever you want to say. Don't be so coy like a woman, Fengde couldn't help but say. Ha! Leng Ruoxue and the others couldn't help but laugh when they heard Feng Da's words, making Ningde instantly blush, wanting to find a hole to burrow into. What do you want to say? Leng Ruoxue asked very kindly, neutralizing Ningde's embarrassment. Miss, are those pythons really your food? Ningde asked curiously. Ah. Could the python meat he ate be one of those pythons? Yes, I guess so. Leng Ruoxue said honestly. Those snakes were caught together with Icy. However, she had some feelings for them after raising them for so long, so she really didn't want to eat them. She often scared them, hee. Miss, those are legendary beasts, many of them are transcendent divine beasts. It's a pity to eat them, Ningde said on behalf of those giant pythons. Is that so? If I remember correctly, you ate the most just now, Leng Ruoxue teased with a spurious smile. Ah. That's because it's already grilled. I'm afraid of wasting them. Ningde wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and defended himself. Boo-hoo. Miss was too evil. She must have done it on purpose. Makes sense. Being thrifty is a virtue. Leng Ruoxue nodded in agreement. Miss, what do you intend to do with the Guanyu family? Ningde hurriedly changed the topic, afraid that Miss would mention the python meat he had just eaten. Toss around. Leng Ruoxue spat out 2 words softly and stopped talking. Ah. Ningde was speechless. He lowered his head and walked while thinking, can't Miss say a few more words? Boo-hoo. He was really curious. Ningde, the Alchemist Association has arrived. Where are you going? Leng Ruoxue reminded Ningde, who had been walking with his head lowered. Ah. We're here so soon. Ningde said awkwardly. Boo-hoo. It was embarrassing again. He actually got distracted. Hee. Fengde and the others let out low laughter. Miss, let's go in. Ningde said shyly with a red face. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded slightly, and then everyone walked directly into the Alchemist Association. After entering the guild, Leng Ruoxue and the others returned to their temporary yard. In the yard, the little old man was sitting on a stone bench with several alchemists surrounding him. They seemed to be asking him questions, and he was answering them very patiently. Lass, you're back, the little old man asked in surprise when he unintentionally saw Leng Ruoxue and the others. Ah. Grandpa Du, what do you mean? Could it be that you are unhappy that we're back early? Leng Ruoxue said aggrievedly. Hee, with my understanding of you, I thought you would stay in the Guanyu family until the end of the Flower Appreciation Festival, the little old man said with a naughty smile. Master, luckily you didn't go out with us that day. Otherwise, you would have been snatched away like us. Zhengyan said with a smile, his handsome face seemed to be full of regret. Yes. Fortunately, I didn't go out with you that day. Otherwise, the Guanyu family probably wouldn't be able to compensate for the loss of kidnapping me even if they went bankrupt, the little old man teased happily. Alas. He only knew how lonely he was these 2 days that the girl and the others were not by his side. If he wasn't afraid of ruining the girl's plan, he would have probably killed his way to the Guanyu family and walked into their trap. Ha, Grandpa Du, Guanyu Long has already compensated 10 billion for my food, Leng Ruoxue said with a smile, her beautiful face full of satisfaction. Ah. What's going on? The little old man's face was full of curiosity. He knew that the clansmen of the Guanyu family had not eaten for the past few days. Could it be that they had to spend a lot of money so quickly? 10 billion. That was not a small sum, almost equivalent to the entire wealth of a medium-sized family. Ha! Master, I'll tell you. Zheng En pulled the little old man and began to tell him what had happened. They looked like they were sleeping, but they didn't miss out on what they should hear and see. Ha! The little old man couldn't help but laugh loudly after hearing this. The alchemists who were also listening by the side were all dumbfounded, their foreheads covered in cold sweat. Moreover, they secretly decided in their hearts that no matter who they provoked in this world, they couldn't provoke these people because they were really too terrifying. Chapter 627, Attending the Flower Appreciation Festival with Different Thoughts. 2. Grandpa Du, the Flower Appreciation Festival is tomorrow. Let's go take a look. Leng Ruoxue suggested. Okay, hee. I wonder how the Wu family will react when they see you, the little old man said with anticipation. Well, following the girl and the others would definitely not be boring. Definitely not in a good mood, especially when Wu Qianer sees me, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. Lass, let's try our best to keep a low profile tomorrow. If they don't take the initiative to provoke us, then we'll stay put, the little old man said with a chuckle. He was not looking forward to what was about to happen tomorrow. That was because he knew that the Wu family would definitely not be able to control their anger when they saw them, so they didn't need to find trouble at all. Yes, being low-key has always been my style. If anyone wants me to not be low-key, then I can only be high-profile for him to see. Leng Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of indifference. Miss, do you need me to prepare anything? Ningde quickly said after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words because he knew the character of the Wu family and knew that they would not be at ease. What you need to prepare is to pretend not to know me tomorrow, Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Hee. It was more interesting to pretend to be a pig to eat a tiger. Why? Ningde asked in puzzlement with a long face. Is there a need to ask? What if the Wu family knows about our relationship? What if they retreat? Therefore, we have to not recognize you. Fengde explained with a smile. The Wu family won't, Ningde muttered softly. The eyes of the Wu family were at the top of their heads. They would not take the Alchemist Association seriously unless they needed their help. It's settled. I'm going to sleep. Help yourselves. Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. Then she pulled the freak into the room. Miss. Ningde called out aggrievedly. Boo-hoo. Why does Miss always sleep? Stop shouting. Miss hates it when others disturb her sleep. Fengde hugged Ningde's shoulder and reminded him. Hee, actually, Miss didn't go to sleep. Miss went into the space to cultivate. Oh, I'll take my leave then, Ningde said gloomily and left the yard. The alchemists tactfully followed closely after seeing President Ning leave. Fengde and the others entered the room seeing that there were no outsiders. The next morning, Leng Ruoxue and the others walked out of the room after leaving the bracelet. Miss, should we look for old Ning? Fengde asked when he saw that it was almost time, but Ningde actually hadn't arrived yet. There's no need to look. He's already here. A knock sounded on the door just as Leng Ruoxue finished speaking. Fengde hurriedly opened the door after hearing it. Miss, I'm sorry. I had insomnia yesterday and slept late, Ningde explained, his cheeks burning. It's okay. Your mission today is to bring us into the venue of the Flower Appreciation Festival. After that, you have nothing to do, Leng Ruoxue ordered. Yes. Ningde was a little unwilling, but he had no other choice. Boo-hoo. It was his identity that harmed him. Let's go. Leng Ruoxue ordered, and everyone left the Alchemist Association valiantly. The venue of the Flower Appreciation Festival was arranged in a square in Moon-Gazing City. At this moment, the periphery of the square had been encircled by the Moon-Gazing family and a shed had been set up. It could accommodate thousands of people and had a VIP seat and ordinary audience seats. Miss, the venue of the flower appreciation meeting is up ahead. Ningde suddenly said to Leng Ruoxue after walking for a while. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. In fact, she had already seen it because there were all sorts of colorful flowers everywhere she looked. They were fighting for beauty and were actually blooming. Miss, there's still some time before the Flower Appreciation Festival. Shall we go in now? Ningde asked. There were not many people outside the venue now because the Flower Appreciation Festival had yet to begin. Of course we're going in, Leng Ruoxue said. She came so early because she wanted to enter early. These beautiful flowers would not be the ones being watched when there were more people later. Okay. Ningde brought Leng Ruoxue and the others around to the left. The flower viewing convention was divided into 3 entrances, one on the left and one on the right, and the largest was in the middle. That was also the main entrance with the most people, and the people on both sides were relatively fewer. He knew that Miss wanted to keep a low profile, so he naturally wouldn't bring Miss and the others in through the main entrance. Ningde, are so many flowers provided by the families? Leng Ruoxue looked at the flowers that were almost 1/3 full in the venue and couldn't help asking curiously after entering the inner hall. She really didn't expect there to be so many families raising famous flowers to admire. These flowers were not ordinary flowers that were planted just to beautify the yard, but genuine famous flowers and herbs. Some were very precious and could be used for medicine. Yes, famous flowers and famous herbs are very popular among the top families of the boundless heaven continent. The flower viewing conference in Moon Gazing City just happened to give them a chance to showcase their taste. Therefore, the major families won't make things that they can't show embarrassing. After all, this also concerns the face of the various families. Therefore, the flowers and plants in the flower viewing conference are considered rare treasures, Ningde explained. There are also women other than these flowers and plants, right? Leng Ruoxue said in realization. Ah. Yes, this is also part of the Flower Appreciation Festival, Ningde said. Miss Leng, President Ning, you're here. A voice suddenly interrupted Leng Ruoxue and Ningde's conversation. Isn't this the first elder of the Guanyu family? You're early. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. At this moment, no guests or audience had entered the venue except for the guards, servants, and maids arranged by the Guanyu family. Ah. We're specially here to welcome Miss Leng and President Ning, First Elder said ingratiatingly. In fact, they didn't know if this eldest miss would come to cause trouble. However, the patriarch still asked him and Fifth Elder to come and wait early to avoid neglecting this eldest miss that they couldn't afford to offend. First Elder, don't worry. I'm here to participate in the flower viewing convention. I won't cause trouble for no reason if no one takes the initiative to provoke me, Leng Ruoxue said understandingly. Alas. It seemed that the Guanyu family really valued this flower viewing convention. They actually looked like they were facing a formidable enemy seeing her. Chapter 628, Attending the Flower Appreciation Festival with Different Thoughts, 3, Miss Leng, the patriarch specially sent us here to wait for you because he was afraid of neglecting you, the eldest quickly explained. Boo-hoo. Why was this little girl so shrewd at such a young age? In fact, the patriarch really had this purpose in sending them to wait. Oh, arrange an inconspicuous spot for us since the first elder is here. I want to keep a low profile, Leng Ruoxue said rudely. Okay, Miss Leng, the VIP seats, First Elder was about to say something when he was interrupted by Leng Ruoxue. We don't want the VIP seats. We just want ordinary seats, Leng Ruoxue said. Okay, this way please, First Elder answered helplessly. Then he led Leng Ruoxue and the others to an inconspicuous spot with Fifth Elder. Miss Leng, is this place okay? First Elder asked anxiously when they arrived because this place was really too inconspicuous and relatively remote. However, their vision was excellent, and they could just see the middle of the stage. Yes, thank you. I'm very satisfied. Leng Ruoxue motioned for everyone to sit down after speaking. Old Ning, your seat is in the VIP seats. Feng De reminded kindly after seeing Ning De sit down with him. Alas! If old Ning were to sit here too, there would probably be no more fun. Miss, I would like to sit with you. Ning De looked at Leng Ruoxue aggrievedly with tears in his eyes. The first elder and fifth elder beside him were all terrified when they saw Ning De's expression. Heavens! Was this person really the President Ning they knew? Why did he look like a puppy abandoned by its master now? Be good. Go to the VIP seats and sit, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas! How did Ning De learn to pretend to be pitiful? It had only been a few days. All right then. Boo-hoo. He had to sacrifice himself for Miss Plan. Ning De stood up reluctantly and walked back to the VIP seats every 3 steps. Fifth elder, stay here and accompany Miss Leng and the others. First elder said to fifth elder. Yes, the fifth elder answered hurriedly. Miss Leng, you can instruct fifth elder at any time if there's anything. First elder turned his head to Leng Ruoxue. Okay. Leng Ruoxue nodded. It would be a waste not to use it since the Guan Yu family was willing to send her an errand. First elder bowed slightly to Leng Ruoxue and the others and left after speaking. Miss Leng, please don't stand on ceremony if you have any instructions, fifth elder said very respectfully. Don't worry, I won't stand on ceremony. Fifth elder, eat this first. Leng Ruoxue took out a pill and handed it to fifth elder. Humph. Was it possible to find someone to watch her? Ah. The fifth elder took the pill, hesitated, and then resolutely ate the unknown pill. Boo-hoo. He went all out for the sake of the family. Don't be scared. It's not poison. I just don't want you to be recognized. Leng Ruoxue teased happily as she looked at the fifth elder's expression that said he was ready to die. What pill is that? Fifth elder couldn't help asking curiously. Appearance-changing pill. Fifth elder, sit down. You will block my vision if you stand. Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Oh. The fifth elder hurriedly sat down in the empty seat beside them after hearing Leng Ruoxue's words. The audience in the venue increased as the time for the conference approached. Miss Leng, our flower viewing convention will last for a week. During this period, apart from seeing many precious flowers and plants, the highlight will be the talents competition of the daughters of the major families. The daughters of the families who won the championship will obtain the grand prize. After a while of silence, the fifth elder took on the task of explaining to Leng Ruoxue and the others. Talent performance? What are they? Feng De couldn't help asking curiously. Hee, of course it's the specialty of the daughters of the various families. I'm not sure what it is exactly now. However, the daughters of the various families will learn various skills from a young age so that they can prepare for marriage in the future. No man will want a daughter without any skills, the fifth elder said. Oh. Miss, looks like no man will want you by the standards of the boundless heaven continent. Feng De teased with a light smile. Who said so? I want it. The freak glared at Feng De and said with displeasure. Humph. Who dared to say that no one wanted Shuer? He was anxious with whoever. Did they think he didn't exist? Humph. Do I need to rely on my talents to attract men? Leng Ruoxue said disdainfully. Only women who were not very talented in cultivation would be used by the family as a tool for marriage. The sad thing was that those women were actually happy about it. Alas. This was really the sorrow of women. Hee, Miss Leng is of course an exception, the fifth elder hurriedly echoed, thinking to himself that ordinary men couldn't afford to have such a strong woman. Moreover, he didn't think that any man would dare to let the future president of the Alchemist Association perform for everyone in public. Alas. Wasn't that courting death? Hee, of course not, Feng De said hurriedly. Shuer, the conference has begun, Empty reminded her and then looked at the stage. In the middle of the stage. After the host went on stage, he gave an opening speech before the patriarch went on stage to give his speech. Guan Yulong strode onto the stage that was nearly 2 meters tall. His gaze first scanned the audience, and then paused on Leng Ruoxue and the others when he looked at them. He nodded slightly without leaving a trace and began to speak. Fifth Elder, are all the VIPs you invited here? Leng Ruoxue looked at the VIP seats and found that there were still a few empty seats, which seemed to be the seats of the Wu family. Humph. The Wu family was really extraordinary arrogant. The Flower Appreciation Festival had already begun, but they hadn't arrived yet. Ah. The Wu family isn't here yet. Fifth Elder also glanced at the VIP seats and said. Does the Wu family want to forfeit? Leng Ruoxue deliberately guessed. The Wu family won't forfeit. Miss Leng, they're already here, the fifth elder reminded. When he was speaking just now, he happened to see the Wu family members walking into the VIP seats from the corner of his eye. Alas! The Wu family always used this method to show that they were different. In fact, it was really unnecessary. Because this didn't mean that the Wu family was superior to others. To reverse it, it was precisely because they deliberately did so that the Wu family's social relations among the various families were not good. Chapter 629, Attending the Flower Appreciation Festival with Different Thoughts. 4. Where's Wu Qian'er? Leng Ruoxue looked at the Wu family's lineup and found that Wu Qian'er was not among them. This would not do. Wu Qian'er had to come even if no one from the Wu family came. She should be backstage. The talent performance of the daughters of the various families will begin after the patriarch finishes his speech. Wu Qian'er is the first to go on stage, the fifth elder explained. Alas! Poor Wu Qian'er. Good luck. He couldn't help gloating and praying. Oh! Leng Ruoxue nodded. It was good that he was here. At this moment, Guan Yulong had already ended his speech and announced the official start of the first round of the competition. Wu Qian'er was the first young lady to go on stage. After Guan Yulong finished speaking, she, who was already prepared, strode elegantly and arrogantly onto the stage like a proud phoenix. TCH, look at her proud appearance. What's there to be smug about? A young lady from an aristocratic family said disdainfully when she saw Wu Qian'er go on stage. Sister Xing'er, Miss Wu does have the right to be arrogant, a young woman in white who looked very pure and beautiful said very impartially. Big Sister Fang, there's no need for her to be so smug. Does she really think that the champion will definitely belong to her? Humph. How can the champion be hers with Big Sister Fang around? The woman called Xing'er said indignantly, her cute and beautiful face fuming. Sister Xing'er, don't spout nonsense. How can I compare to Miss Wu? You will make things difficult for me by saying this, Bai Fang said with a troubled face. Alright, I won't say it. However, Big Sister Fang, no matter who wins in the end, you are the true champion in my heart, Xing'er said with certainty. They had a good relationship even though Bai Fang was not the first daughter. Moreover, she liked the elegant, beautiful, and outstanding Bai Fang very much. The daughters backstage had different thoughts. Wu Qian'er, who was on the stage, began her first performance. After Wu Qian'er stood on the stage, she first very politely gave a few opening remarks and said some pompous words, and then began her performance today. Her talent performance was the zither. The waiter had already prepared the zither when she spoke. After a few short words, she sat in front of the zither table and began to play today's song, Phoenix Seeking Phoenix. In the corner of the audience. It seems like Wu Qian'er wants to marry out quickly. Leng Ruoxue teased as she listened to the melodious and pleasant zither music coming from the stage. Well, Wu Qian'er's zither playing was really good. She must have practiced a lot. However, with her unruly character, the Guanyu family probably wouldn't want her no matter how good she was at playing the zither. Ahem. The fifth elder coughed awkwardly when he heard Lin Ruoxiu's words because he really didn't know how to respond to this. Ah. Miss Leng was right. Wu Qian'er really wanted to marry off quickly. Fifth elder, are you sick? Leng Ruoxiu pretended to be stupid, her beautiful watery eyes innocent. Yes, my throat is a little uncomfortable, the fifth elder said shyly. Alas. None of the daughters who came to participate in the Flower Appreciation Convention this year were easy to deal with. Hopefully, nothing bad happened. I have medicine for you. Leng Ruoxiu handed him a pill very kindly and then looked at the fifth elder expectantly. Ah. The fifth elder looked at the pill in Leng Ruoxiu's hand and was depressed. Boo-hoo. She wanted to give him medicine again. He was just saying it casually, but he couldn't not want it. Therefore, he could only bite the bullet and take it and put it in his mouth. Fifth elder, it's not poison. Why are you eating so painfully? Leng Ruoxiu couldn't help teasing after seeing fifth elder's expression. Ah. The fifth elder's face was red because he really didn't know how to answer. He couldn't say that he was afraid of poison, nor could he say that he didn't like to take medicine. Boo-hoo. It was a dilemma. Miss, don't give away such good pills casually. Feng De glanced at the fifth elder and complained seemingly petty. I didn't give it away casually. Fifth elder isn't a casual person, Leng Ruoxiu answered aggrievedly. Miss, our pills can be sold for a lot of money. Even people who are not casual have to take money, understand? Feng De said very seriously. Okay, take more money for others next time. I won't take the money this time for fifth elder's sake, Leng Ruoxiu said after some thought. Alright, there won't be a next time. Feng De pretended to be satisfied and nodded. The fifth elder, who was beside them, felt even more depressed when he heard the two of them talking in unison. Did they think that he didn't pay? However, the first time was an appearance-changing pill, and the second time was unknown medicine. Both times were not what he wanted to eat. Would he not be a fool if he paid? Boo-hoo. A group of baddies. In the audience, Leng Ruoxiu and Feng De were teasing the fifth elder. The VIP seats were also extraordinarily lively. After the patriarchs of the major families greeted each other, they sat down in their seats and prepared to enjoy the performance. The patriarchs of the various families were all full of smiles. However, there was one person sitting listlessly in his seat with the words "Do not approach strangers, please don't disturb" written on his face. Most of the patriarchs were tactful when they saw this situation, but there were also those who were ignorant. President Ning, I've heard a lot about you. I'm the patriarch of the Fang family. Nice to meet you. The middle-aged man who claimed to be the patriarch of the Fang family walked in front of Ning De and said very politely. Go away, don't bother me. Ning De said without giving him any face. Normally, he might give some face to deal with these so-called patriarchs, but he really didn't have the mood now. Boo-hoo. He was depressed and annoyed at everyone, so even Guan Yuelong tactfully didn't dare to disturb him. Ah. The patriarch of the Fang family, who had walked over to try to worm his way into being friends, blushed and stood awkwardly on the spot. He couldn't leave or stay, but even if he was angry, he didn't dare to vent it on Ning De, so he could only bear with it. Hee, Patriarch Fang, I have something to tell you. First elder looked helplessly at the depressed Ning De and hurriedly mediated. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.